Songs on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sac.
Good morning. How are you? Final day of July, Wednesday, July 31st. Jason Ross, Christopher Laud on this beautiful morning. As we take you till 10 o'clock, we will have Styles and Watkins joining us for Crosstalk at the end of the show. We will talk to them about what's coming up on their show. We will also quiz them at the end of the show, the way we end it with celebrity birthdays. That's how we end the show. But we are beginning the show this morning here on Sacktown Sports, telling you hello. Look at us on YouTube. Look at us. Look at us.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? We got Chris Guerrero's in early 10. Pedro Juan, Mike Barnbaum, Eric. Thank you guys for all being here. And we do appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button while you're here. Today on the show, we will be going over the Olympics again. Olympics? Yeah. What's going on in Paris, France? We also will be talking about the Major League Baseball trade deadline, which is now come and gone. Giants and A's were both participants in ways with the deadline. We have the Bay Bridge series going on today for 2 days. We will discuss that. We will have Niners at 9. We'll tell you what to watch today. The state and sports history, streaking, leading off, 3 for madness, safe or out, all those things. And Sean Cunningham will be joining us.
Dork.
Oh, I had a great time with Sean in Las Vegas. He was there, Summer League. It was the main hangout there was Sean and me and the High Flyer. Picture us running the streets of Vegas.
We're going to go nuts in there.
Chris had live audio of, that was actually me.
At the blackjack table.
At the blackjack table. I do my best at the blackjack table of keeping it together when some come up to the table that I don't know any other way to say it, but play incorrectly.
Here's the advice I give to every blackjack table. Any gambler in Las Vegas.
Yeah, or anywhere.
You
or
can walk
Vegas.
You can walk away.
True.
You go to a different table.
You meaning are you saying that to me or the other people that
other people? Like, especially like you feel competitive. A lot of competitive people, they're bad at gambling because you just can't win every single time.
Right.
And they think that they have to win it back on that table.
Oh, yeah. Right. That's true.
You can go to different table. You can go to different casino.
Yeah. You can change it up. What I did not know, and I don't know if this has changed, but if you play slots or anything that pays out a slip, and I did that where I was like, we were staying at the Aria, but I also, like, Sean was at a different casino. So if we walked over to his, and you can go through, what is it, Aria to New York, or MGM, what is that, the other one? Not Grand, but MGM, Park MGM to New York, ultimately, like these other casinos. So if I had, like, hey, I had $4.50 left on a slot, cash it out, and I go, oh, I still have this slip, let me put this in. And it wouldn't play at other.
Really?
And I always thought that did.
Huh. That's weird.
And
because I know you could take chips from other casinos and go to other place.
Right. And
you can't play with them, but you can take them to the cashier.
And they'll change it out. Yeah. So that was new, or they just didn't like me. I don't know which one it was, but maybe both. But what is funny, I think I will speak for myself, but I think a lot of people do this. When I did get first to Vegas, I didn't play for a while, but then when I did play, Chris, whenever I started playing blackjack was actually the best run I had the time I was in Vegas. So I was doing my best, and it wasn't like it was incredible, but I was doing pretty well. I'm like, wow, blackjack's going well. And then whenever something changes, I know I do this. I'm like, yeah, it'll change when that happened, whether it's a new person coming in, or in this case, there was a man to the so I was at this table, for those that don't know the way the tables work, but I was playing what would be equivalent to the first person, or what's called first base, which I usually like to play third. I was playing first. And so I was first to act, all that stuff. That was fine. It was going well for me at this particular table. And then, which would be third base on the table right behind me, a man was standing up playing, and that's fine. I was like, yeah, he's kind of hitting my chair, but nah, no big deal. But could not have had a more strong and fragrant and powerful cigar. And I actually like the smell of cigars, like when it hits you in the right note, but like it was plume of clouds of smoke, right in our face. And even so, our dealer was just like, oh, and just kept giving him the look. And then it sure felt like I was getting 14s, 13s, 16s, all on dealer 10. Oh, dealer blackjack. I'm like, ugh.
I would rather have a 16 with the dealer blackjack.
Yeah, well, that's true. Or whatever it might have been. And of course, my rationale was it's the cigar guy. And I did get up and I left, but you always go a couple hands too far because, like, I don't want to leave. It's going well. Oh, cigar's happening. It's not going as well. Oh, I've lost again. Oh, I hate this cigar. Was that guy almost done with the cigar? No, he's not. 4 more hands later. Okay. A new person comes into my table. Maybe this will change the luck. And I keep losing. I'm like, all right, now I'm finally going.
That's the thing with competitive people. That's why it's so hard to gamble. You never end with a win.
That's pretty much true.
Ever.
Yeah. Well, and that I don't mind that per se. Like if you're doing really well and you're like, okay, maybe I've put this amount of money aside.
Yeah.
This is, I'm going to end here. But if I could turn the rest of this little pile into even another one of these, this will be great. And it's like, all right, lost. Thank you. Here's your tip. Cash out.
Yeah.
Color me up.
But it's either you lose, but you've already won like a pretty good chunk. It's like, I've won enough. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Or you ran out of your money.
Yes. And that is true. And the same for me on a slot. If I don't play, I do like to play slots. I more so for the gimmick of it. I want to see the bonus. I want to see what happens, stars and stripes and whatever, all the things, the bells and whistles. But if I hit on that, then I usually at least do 1 to 2 more spins. Like, hey, maybe I'll hit twice in a row. It's probably rare, but you just never know. I don't want to leave like this crazy hot machine. Then you go, okay, cash out. That's good. Which I think was probably the smartest invention. I don't even know if that's the right word, that Vegas and any casino ever made. Because I don't know. Were you ever in a casino where you had change buckets? Were you ever old enough?
I remember like when I was a kid, when like my parents were taking me through, I remember those. But
yeah,
see, what they would do is what was pretty cool is they would switch off. Like it'd be me and my friends out at whatever casino, arcade or whatever. And so they would get a bucket of their quarters and they would just do handoffs of their quarter buckets to one would go to the casino and the other would come and just watch us.
Yeah. But I mean, could you imagine that? I mean, now literally the amount of coins you have, like,
it's gross to think about.
Well, and what you're touching, all that shit. But like, yeah, if you want, I just won $115 on a slot, cash out, ching, 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 just all this change, and you're carrying this huge bucket ultimately to go to the cashier. But why it's so smart? One, it's obviously easier for us, but it's smarter for them. There's something about like if you got paid out $115 in quarters. You're like, I'm not putting this back in the machine. Whereas if you have it on a slip and you're like, well, I'm already ahead. I'll go play a little more. And then all of a sudden, no, it's down to 85. Let's see if I can get it back up. Oh, it's down to 40. And you started with 60. You're like, I actually just lost money. The same with chips. The chips are the same concept.
The weird thing is they keep on making the noise for the cash out of the coins.
That's true.
But it's weird when you have like 15 cents coming back to you. It's like ching 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 ching.
You're like, what do you got? 15 cents. You want it? And the other concept that they're smart about is chips. All right. That was a smart concept whenever they decided to do that, because if we were literally putting dollar bills or 20s or
if
5s,
you're putting a 3 $20 bills.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
And every time, and I don't know if you're like me, Chris, but I try to find what I feel is the most affordable table, and that's anybody's interpretation of that, because I know there was a time where there were dollar tables. $5 tables are pretty rare to find. But, if you see like a 25 minimum or 50, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna, this is too much. But then you could get to a table, and as you're playing for 30, 40 minutes, you're like, oh, am I really betting? This is a $10 table, but I'm betting $30 right now. What am I doing? You could get there, but it's something about starting there or being asked to bet that every time. I'm like, nope, too rich for my blood.
Yeah, because I like to do what's called a protest bet of when the dealer does like something crazy to get like a win or whatever.
Blackjack, yeah.
And it's like happened a couple times where I'll do a protest bet of putting the minimum out there, and I'll make a big show of it, of dragging the chip.
Look what I'm over here. Check me out. $5.
Then you get mad when you win. Yeah, come on.
I knew I should have bet more. Oh my goodness. That's the way it works. I don't know how we got there, but we did. Oh, I was talking about Sean Cunningham. He will be joining us today. Sean and I had a good time. I don't know that we played together this time, because I've played with Sean. I've played with you and Sean before.
Yeah, not a fan of Sean's play.
He's a hunch and a gut feel guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like the
which he knows upsets me. He's just like, "What? It's my bet."
True, but you should hit. No. You and I are, like we said, I think we're pretty much the same, but I also know you won't. What was it? You won't hit on 16?
If I've got a 16, I won't hit with a 7 showing.
Nothing wrong with that. There was something that did happen this time that I've played so many times, and I felt I was at a pretty experienced table, and a lot of the table was mad at me for like, oh, you should have. I'm like, really? And I want to say maybe it was I felt like I had ace 7.
Yeah, soft 18. That's what I've been yelled at for too.
Okay, and I think they told me, were they asking me to double down or not, or hit? No, not hit. No, wait, no, I didn't hit, because I'm like, that 18's probably a winning hand. There's really 2 cards that help me, a 2 and a 3. I mean, if you get a 10, it's fine, but am I taking the dealer's bust card? And I think the dealer had, I don't remember, but I almost. So what do you get? Help me with that one. It was soft 18.
I had a soft 18, and I want to say like a 6 was showing. And like some people like to double down on it. Okay. It just depends on what you do. But what I was third base, and what I like to do, especially if there's like a table there, and especially if I come in late or whatever, I'll ask the table like, "Hey guys, what do you want me to do here?" And everyone was just like, it's your hand. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. So I stayed, and they pulled out like a 5-card like made hand.
Would have helped.
And then they got mad at me. I'm like, I was like, no. I'm like, you cannot get mad at me.
Yeah.
I asked. I'm like, if you can't have a problem if I ask you. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the dealer is like, well, everybody calm down.
Right. I feel like when you're doubling down there, if that's what the play was, it's just you're being greedy, and maybe they missed out on opportunities too.
I have doubled down on 18, on a soft 18 before.
You have.
And it's basically you're betting for the bust.
Yeah, because again, 2 cards help you, right? 2 or 3 or another ace. And you could get a 10, or just you'll probably get like an 8, and you're like at 17. Okay, that's fine. I decreased my hand. You're just hoping they bust. So anyway, the fun with gambling stories and blackjack, we will talk with Sean Cunningham. He will join us. We're kind of sprayed all fields with Sean when he joins us at 8, because he's been at Niners camp. Obviously, he's been in Vegas and has followed the Kings very, very closely. We'll get an update with him on the Giants and the A's. All that coming up at the show. He's going to join us around 8. But we are just beginning here on this Wednesday show. Lots for us to cover. We will start it all off with leading off. That's coming your way next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
Very important.
Here's cut number.
And this is the pain of this. Let me see. I got to get over to this screen. Mute this. Hard part, Chris, is I can never get back over here. I got to get this switched. Okay, did I make it back over to this other screen? I am doing the proper way to get over there. Just can't get left. Or in this case, right. The kids. Big Ben. Parliament. Frustrating technology. All right. Still not there. Still efforting.
Throws the ball through him
There it is.
legs. 3 is up. No good. Gobert gets the rebound, and that's it. France wins the ball game in overtime in a classic game. 94-90. A huge 4-point play in regulation by Strazel.
Part of the drama of yesterday's day 4 at the Olympics, as the Olympic ceremonies or the Olympic festivities continue, still dominated by, at this point, swimming, gymnastics are their featured sports. It'll transition next week into track and field. Other sports have been going on. Some have yet to appear, but yesterday, some great basketball. Team USA men's basketball will be in action today. And again, just been knee-deep into Olympic coverage. As soon as I left the station yesterday, went home, watched a ton of the women's gymnastics and their quest for gold and their achievement of gold, and just everything else that was going on. Water polo, rugby. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. I know we've been Chris and I quickly become rugby fans. And so it's been enjoyable to me. Still a couple more, several more days of the Olympic action in Paris. But we will get into some of the highlights of yesterday. There's some great dramatic finishes. We'll discuss that, including the one you just heard there. We got more of that coming up, but let's get to cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's swung on, drilled to right. That has a chance in the corner and gone. And almost into the bay. The A's 4th homer tonight. Holliday homers to right. And it's 5-0 in favor of the A's.
The Oakland A's doing Oakland A's things, at least to the Giants. The Bay Bridge series began yesterday, just a 2-game set as they started things off in San Francisco. We mentioned yesterday, look, the Giants, if you kind of close your eyes, you squint, you think, okay, if everything could kind of go right with this potentially top-notch pitching, favorable schedule, maybe they can really get going. Well, Robbie Ray's second performance as a Giant, not quite the same as the first. Didn't go 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, 4 earned. The A's hit him for 3 home runs. They had that 4-0 lead through 5 innings, and the Giants were trying to play catch-up, scored a couple of runs late. Too little, too late. Giants lose an important game in the standings, the first game of the 2-game Bay Bridge series. And the A's do some damage to the Giants yesterday with a 5-2 win, as you heard there, called by Ken Korak. They had multiple home runs in this one. Ended up with 4 of the 5 runs scored via the home run, or 4 home runs in their 5 runs, I should say. So A's do damage to the Giants, not what San Francisco needed at all. And again, the final yesterday, 5-2 Oakland. All right, let's get to our final cut in leading off.
Cut number 3.
How can you not be romantic about baseball?
It's a metaphor.
I know it's a metaphor.
Your streak continues. We've talked about the baseball trade deadline every day. I don't know what cut Chris is going to pick. Another Moneyball cut. Another great clip from the movie.
Might bring this back for when Dave gets back.
See if we could just keep playing Moneyball clips. Even if we put up a baseball thing or something in safe or out, just keep playing clips of Moneyball. Well, I know this is about the baseball trade deadline, and we'll get into that. Best baseball movie? I mean, Moneyball is a completely different type of movie, but it's very entertaining to me. And I think that probably worked for the masses. Like, I mean, I don't even know that I would call that a baseball movie. I guess it is.
But there's very little baseball in it.
Yeah, which was fine. Like, but for like, I'm a baseball fan or a sports fan. It was fine. It was enough. I had enough storytelling. Whereas other like sports movies are literally like featured with either the heartbreak the team had that they're trying to bounce back from, the individual, whatever it might be. Moneyball is really good.
My two favorite are Little Big League and The Scout.
I knew you were going to say The Scout. What's the pitcher's name?
Steve Nebraska. You've never even seen it, have you?
I haven't, because you still claim when you did your breakdown of the greatest fictional sports figure, Steve Nebraska is number 1 on your list.
Like, not even hands down.
Because
there's not an argument for anybody else.
We'll make the case again for Steve Nebraska.
He could pitch up to 112 miles per hour.
Okay.
His first Major League Baseball game was Game 1 of the World Series.
That's the first game he played in?
First Major League Baseball game that he played in.
Why was he hidden before then?
He went down to Mexico, and he's living in Mexico.
Okay, so he's kind of a mystery man?
Yeah. So
Okay.
then he can. So in the game, the Yankees win, I believe, 2-0. He had an 81 pitch, 27 up, 27 out,
Perfect
27 strikeouts, perfect game.
27 strikeouts.
27 strikeouts, perfect game, and he hit a 450 home run.
Wow. For a 2-run shot or just a solo shot?
I think it was a 2-run shot.
So he's the
He's the
reason
only
they won.
reason why they won.
Did they win any other games in this World Series?
Don't know.
That was based around game 1 or other things?
It was just based on him getting to the Yankees.
So this is not a spoiler. This movie's old enough. Is it about them finding him in Mexico?
No. So it's Al Brooks, who plays Al Percolo.
Uh-huh.
He's a scout. He gets a player. He brings up a player that's like awful. So then I can't think of the actor's name, but he's the dad in the movie Son-in-Law. He's also the prosecutor in My Cousin Vinny. He was like in a bunch of movies.
Oh, yeah. I know
He gets mad at him and sends him down to like South Central Mexico to scout players as a punishment for what he did.
Lane Smith.
Yes. And
Okay.
then he brings him back up. He brings him to the Yankees. Then they tell him he's fired. So then he kind of sells them to other team. Any team can buy him. And then the Yankees end up buying him. And then he becomes his manager.
Let's see who else is in this. I know Brendan Fraser, Steve Nebraska, right? Is he believable?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Michael Rappaport's in this?
He's the first player that's terrible at the beginning.
Diane Wiest is in it? Okay.
Yep. George Steinbrenner is in it.
Is he?
Bob Costas is in it.
He's one of the announcers. He's the best character on a movie scale. What do you give this movie?
I give it out of like 10.
Yeah.
Like a 7.
Really?
Yeah. But Al Brooks is incredible. Al Brooks is just amazing in everything.
He really is. He's a good voice actor. He's just awesome. He's a very good character. I mean, he's great.
And like all of his, he's such like a salesman in this movie. He's trying to get this guy to come to the Yankees, but his parents are like extremely like Catholic people, and they want their son to go to college. And so he's like, he goes, "Did you know Mickey Mantle's sister was a nun?" I'm like, really? What's her name? He goes, he's caught in a lie, and he just like, I believe it was Mickey too, but with an I.
Yeah, The Scout. That's I didn't see that. I mean, I would put what was the other baseball movie you said?
Little Big League.
Oh yeah, Little Big League. I like Sandlot. I like this Moneyball that we've been talking about. let's see. I do like Bull Durham. I think he gets a little more credit than maybe it should. Major League's good. I know you like Major League too.
I do.
Oh. Not for the love. I have to see For the Love of the Game again. If that it didn't feel like it was good.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the one? What's the one where Clint Eastwood's the scout? Justin Timberlake's in it.
Oh.
Like
Million. Trouble with the Curve. I never saw it.
That was entertaining. But it doesn't really feel like a baseball movie to me as well. So anyway, Major League Baseball trade deadline wraps up. A lot of activity. We will get into that throughout the show as well. We still have later this hour, safe or out. But when we come back, we will talk about one last player. Last week, I think at the end of last week, I was talking about NBA free agency, and I thought there was still one player in my mind that would have been a good fit for the Kings, but that pool is drying up. We'll discuss what the options are for the Kings and much more. NFL, Olympics, baseball, Bay Bridge, Sean Cunningham, all that as the show rolls on right here on Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
There was always a crowd gathered around our dining table when I was growing up. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Everyone was welcome at my mother's table, so holidays, birthdays, and celebrations always included family and friends. I used to think I was the most popular kid in the neighborhood until I realized that my friends were really there for my mother's incredible cooking. Years later, when I bought my own dining table from Naturewood, I made sure it was large enough to make friends feel welcome. And right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings' Dine in Style sale, you have an opportunity to find the perfect dining room furniture to help you create your own treasured memories. Choose from casual to formal or anything in between. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings during the Dine in Style sale off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Celebrate Sacramento Rivercats baseball during our 25th anniversary season. Pick your favorite weekly promotion, giveaway game, or theme night, and join the fun at Sutter Health Park. Stick around post-game every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with the brightest fireworks in town. For a full promotion schedule and to buy tickets, visit rivercats.com. We'll see you there.
Hot summer savings now at Maida Chevy with $12,000 off MSRP on every new Silverado half-ton Turbo Max in stock after rebates.
$12,000 off every Silverado LT Turbo Max at Maida Chevy with at least 5 at this price.
Hot summer savings up to $12,000 off MSRP exclusively at Maida Chevy at MaidaChevy.com. Sacramento Silverado headquarters. Together, let's drive.
Not available in special financing, leasing, some other offers. Must trade in 2010 model year or newer and 7/31/24.
Made a great deal at Maida.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley's coming to town.
What was I thinking? I'm getting drunk all the
Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Farmerly, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by The Scoundrel Red Wine, Naturewood Home Furnishings, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
Before I went to bed last night, I was up later last night than I would have normally liked, but still was watching some of the Olympics, and I think this part is back on as well, the triathlon finally got started. And I don't know how I'd feel about being a triathlete if knowing that part of the reason my event hadn't started was because of safety concerns with the water in the river.
This is what I don't like about the whole situation, reading up on it. They said they postponed it because it rained before, and that made the bacteria go up in the river. And so they had to wait for it to dilute, basically.
Right.
Then there was rain early on today, and they said, oh, it's cleaner today than it was yesterday. We're going to do it. It's like, what?
Yeah. Reports of, 35 triathletes being, I don't know. I don't know what. I would like to believe it was like, and I don't know what kind of reassurance this would be, but let's say, Chris, whatever the metrics are of the numbers where they're saying it's unsafe or whatever made them push pause, was that they're on the super cautious side. But I get the feeling, this is such high level, high performance, like, they'll be fine.
But this is like a historically gross river.
Yes.
Like people have not been allowed in it for 100 years. That's how gross. It would be like having that, let's do the triathlon in the Hudson River in New York.
Right. Well, like I remember, let me see. I'm going to try to make sure I have my basis right here for air quality. Let's see if I can find a chart. So sadly, when we had, what was the fire years ago here that really, remember our skies were
the campfire?
Yeah. And look, that's the most important thing. People lost their lives, homes. That's what I'm talking about here was at that time, I think it was 2018, Sacramento State, UC, like they're trying to play football. Like, is that the biggest thing? Of course not. But when they were talking about air quality, I remember it was Saturday, we were hosting a home game, Sac State was, and some of the officials that I'm, trying to keep in contact with and people that have to ultimately make the decision, because like, am I working today? Do we have a game? This looks gross. It's orange outside. It doesn't feel safe, but look, it's not my call by any means. And
this is like a lot of people walking around with masks just because it was like hard to breathe.
Right. And so now you're thinking we're going to have people playing football. And I want to say, so I'm looking at the chart. Good, when the air quality levels would be 0 to 50. Green, where everything's good to go. Moderate, 51 to 100. Unhealthy for sensitive groups, 101 to 150. What we were talking about was it was above 150, maybe even above 200. So 150 to 200 is unhealthy. 201 to 300 is very unhealthy. I don't think it was above 300, which is hazardous. But I think it was kind of in that 150 to 225 range. And I'm thinking, that's what you could see on, maps that were reporting. I'm thinking, again, it's not my call, but what's the decision? What are we doing? And who has to make the decision ultimately? And then they did pause it. But I guess more of my point being here is I didn't think they were very close. I think it was easy to cancel. Whereas swimming, are they going, hey, we're just on the edge. Are we at 52 in this case where it's like, we're in moderate, it's really close, we're probably okay. If we're gonna roll the dice, we're safer than, hey, it's actually at 158 and it's kind of a big roll of the dice. I hope that's what happened with the water. I don't know that. I don't know. Some of those athletes may not care. Some of them may care incredibly.
Yeah, I saw a quote of, we've swam in worse. It was like, oh,
raw sewage.
I love it.
Anyway, that was one of the
gross.
That was one of the events that was going on last night. I was watching some of that, and they were actually in the swimming part. So, I say last night here, but 9 hours ahead, so they were getting going early. And I think
I think it's 8 o'clock their time.
Okay, yeah, because I think they get started early. You really want to, And theirs was I don't know, it must be the Olympic marathon. I think they were triathlon, 0.9 swim, 25, I want to say it's maybe 25, 26 mile bike.
I have it here. I just saw it.
And then a 10K, 6 run. What is it?
It is 1,500 meter swim, which is almost a mile.
Yeah.
40-kilometer bike ride and 10-kilometer run.
Yeah. So 10K. So I think it's, 6, or what is it? 6.2, 5.6. I can't remember what a 10K is. 5 mile, 5.2, something like that. 6.2. And then the bike is 25. And when they were talking about that, like I remember when I did mine years ago, it's like I was whatever. I was nowhere near these people, but there were some people that could ride their bike at 21, 22 miles an hour. And I mean, I was doing okay. I don't know what I was, like 16, 15. I don't know. It was fine. But they're like, oh, the 25-mile bike ride, 26-mile bike ride, they should finish this in about 50-something minutes. I'm like, dang, what are they doing? Are they motorized? Are they on motorcycles? But anyway, impressive stuff. As we went to break, I was telling you about the free agency pool. In my opinion, in the NBA, it's drying up. And, you know, the Kings have a roster spot still technically available if they'd like to use it. I know when I talked to Monty McNair and a few others, but Monty McNair for the show when I was in Vegas, hopefully you enjoyed that interview. And Monty kind of hinted, and not, you know, look, things can always change. And now we're a few weeks past that, but that they kind of were, for this moment, looks like having the roster that they were going to start the season with. And I know some people, myself included, like, yeah, they could probably use a little more front court help, a little more size. True. But, you know, you either they're not hearing what they want from other teams that could maybe help them out on a trade. Free agents in this case maybe aren't as appealing or worth the cost for them. And the one that I thought was left, I mentioned the other day, loving the Tyus Jones signing by the Phoenix Suns. I would love to have him for the Kings. Now, I don't think it would have been the best fit just because they have enough point guards, but you can always add more talent. I think Tyus Jones going to Phoenix, also keeping him away from Phoenix would have been nice. But that wasn't the free agent that I kind of had my eye on as far as overall people that were left that I thought made sense for the Sacramento Kings. I know they've added Orlando Robinson, want to see what he can do ultimately when he's given an opportunity for this team. But I thought the one that they could maybe nab, they could maybe get if they were interested, and maybe they weren't, or maybe just things never materialized, but was Precious Achiuwa. And yesterday, the New York Knicks ended up keeping him on a very reasonable deal, and he will help their front court. He was already there, but losing Hartenstein, it'll be him and Mitchell Robinson, and then everything else the Villanova Knicks will have, right? I mean, that's going to be a good team. And I thought of all the people left on the free agency, there's still some guys. There's still Doug McDermott, Morris Twins, Davis Bertans. I mean, people that certainly could help, but I'm going, yeah, I mean, if they're added, fine. If not, fine. That's kind of where I feel like the Kings are right now. The bulk of what they're doing, and whoever they would have added would have been fringe to the roster, potentially with some minutes here and there. But when we're talking about the 24-25 Sacramento Kings, we are going to be featuring and talking about Fox, Monk, DeRozan, probably Herter, maybe Carter when healthy, Keegan, Sabonis, Lyles. Like, that's the main group that's going to be doing most of the damage. I might have missed somebody in there, and apologies if I did, but that's the 7, 8, 9 that we're looking at for the upcoming Sacramento Kings season. So had they added someone like Precious Achiuwa, which is someone that I told you I liked, sure, would have helped, would have given them a little bit more depth. I just don't know how much run he would have had. But that was kind of the last of the free agency pool that I go, well, he's still unsigned. He's somebody that I think could help the Sacramento Kings, give him a little more size, maybe physical nature. But the Knicks and Precious Achiuwa yesterday agreed to what I would say is a very reasonable deal. So good move for New York. I wouldn't say shame on the Kings. I'm not mad at them or anything like that. But when I was kind of looking at the pool of guys left, it's kind of the last one on my list. My list is kind of irrelevant, but that's the way I felt about that. We'll see if the Kings have anybody left on their list, or like I said earlier, just kind of go to camp with this squad. And I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that until we see if there is something wrong with that. But I think it's a team, like I've said before, generally will play small, not afraid to play small. We'll have a few guys probably out of position of what is normally deemed their positions. And they're going to see if they can just hit you with offensive skill, talent, continuity on defense, and just another year together, what that'll do for this roster. All right, when we return, we've got Safer Out coming your way, including that first win by the A's yesterday. We know they're not going to the postseason, but if it ended up with 4 wins this season over the Giants, would that be enough for A's fans? We'll have that and more in Safe or Out next.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now save 40% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. For JD Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
We golfers tend to grumble too much. Golf Monthly's Nick Bonfield compiled our biggest complaints. They include our own game. The refrain, is it going to be another one of those days, should maybe be realigned and set about the next shot with positivity. Next is our equipment. We always blame our tools, even though they were just along for the ride. Course conditioning is another gripe, and maybe you should try getting up while it's still dark, whether it's 108 or 32 degrees, and deal with global warming, limited budgets, and sustainability. And then go hug your superintendent for what they do. Dress codes get a lot of attention. Some feel the tradition should be maintained, and others are comfortable in T-shirts. It's a game, people. Also in the mix are rules of golf, slow play, the World Handicap System, tee time booking systems, bad luck, and more. I say you get out of it what you're willing to put into it. You're on a golf course, your phone's not ringing, and you might make a birdie or two. Enjoy the moment. There's lots of time left in the day for complaints. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Safe or out? It's time to go around baseball. 3 pitches, 3 swings. It's safe or out on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Sorry. That's where we were. You'll know about that in a few moments. But first, let's get you with safe or out. Chris, question 1.
New Yankee Jazz Chisholm has hit 4 home runs in 2 games. Safe or out, New York has found their secret recipe.
All that jazz. That's out, unfortunately. I mean, he's been great. What I do like about him, so I've watched the last couple of Yankee games, and a lot of you out there are like, Yankees, I don't care. But he was a significant trade for the Yankees before the deadline. That's one of the better teams in baseball. He's a good young player. He's signed. These are all the things I like. But what I think is the best part about him, like the Yankees are a good baseball team. And part of their charm, probably for some, myself included, might be just like, look, they go out, they do their business. There's not a lot of fanfare. Like Aaron Judge is crushing it again. And to me, he's must-watch ABs. Every time he's up, I love watching Aaron Judge. But he's not a bat flipper. He's not like his wow is when he hits a baseball. But Jazz Chisholm is flashy. There's swag. There's an energy. He has a vibe. He's a vibe. That's the best way to put it. And so he's given that lineup. That might be the secret recipe. I mean, I love the fact that he's not really a home run hitter and he's hit 4 home runs in 2 games. but I don't think it's for that. It's more of just his presence. And that's the weird thing about baseball. It is a team sport, but sometimes a new addition can come into a dugout or a clubhouse and just change the overall feel and vibe, like I said. And I think he's doing that slowly but surely. There's also people that can take that in a negative way. He has not done that so far. He has been nice. A couple of good wins against the Phillies team that this could be a preview of the World Series. Not sure if it will be. That was the World Series we had the last time the Yankees won in 2009. But Yankees and Phillies, two good teams. Yankees found a way to come back and win yesterday. A lot of it was because of Jazz Chisholm. So one of the nicer trades so far in baseball. All right, question number 2.
The Oakland A's will not make the postseason, but safer out. If they sweep the Giants, that will make up for it with Oakland fans.
I think that's out, right? I mean, I'm trying to read the true Oakland A's fans, and I know you know some, Chris. I don't even know how to gauge any of their temperatures right now. I think they're in such a fog in what has happened to their team that they love in the place that they love to go see their team play in Oakland. There might be a portion of them that are excited to see them come to Sacramento. I don't think very many of them at all are excited to see if they ultimately get to Las Vegas. But it's been a tough year. They had some moments early on. But the fact that that'll help, like winning yesterday against the Giants was great. They have another one today, and then they got a week or two before they play the next series. And if they somehow won all 4, certainly that'd be bragging rights. If it did some damage to the Giants, that would feel good for the A's fans. But Chris, do you get a feeling of any of the fans you know that are A's fans? Is anything right now redeemable? I think the only bit of good news they could hear is if we came in with breaking news and said John Fisher sold the team.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's all they're waiting for. Like, they could win 15 in a row. That'd be fun. Cool story. Have some player go off for a couple weeks. That'd be fun. They could beat the Giants all 4 times. They've got this other thing hanging over them. I just don't think they want to beat the Giants, but I don't think that matters to them. And that's sad. I hate the spot that A's fans are in right now. It's just unfortunate. All right, let's get to question number 3.
Orioles phenom Jackson Holliday is back. In his first run, he had just 2 hits and 34 at-bats. Safer out. He will have more hits in his first 3 games back than in his entire first stint.
That's our guy. I think we're going to have to pick Jackson Holliday for Let's Go Streaking at some point, just because of the last time we had Jackson Holliday. Remember what you did?
I did.
That's worth playing and picking. He's too good, right? And maybe sometimes you have this where you get called up too quickly. So I think this is safe. I think he will get more hits in his first 3 games than the entirety of before. He was supposed to be the number 1 prospect. Still is. Still has that talent. Still was picked number 1. He's too good. Went back down to AAA and did just fine. And now here comes back up from the Orioles, or for the Orioles. So, yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy. This is part of their future. I'm not really worried about him. He was just in a bad stretch, and they felt it was better to move him down, get some more reps, send him back to the minor leagues, and then call him up. And I don't know now if he just feels like, okay, look, I've already had the taste. I've already had the call up. Now there's less pressure on me. I hope he feels that way. But 2 for 34. And I think we picked him a couple times. Only the once did we pick him where you got the hit and you were able to play it in streaking. But we'll see how he does coming up when he gets his return to the major leagues. All right, so there you go. That is safer out. Kind of want to piggyback a little bit more, though, on that A's thought. Yes, they did get the win over the Giants yesterday. And we got a little Bay Bridge exercise coming up later in the show that you guys will be able to participate in. And any part of the show you want to participate in, feel free. 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Also on the YouTube, if you'd like to get in there, please feel free. We appreciate that. Those of you that are following, most of you, we appreciate that. And the A's are, I feel like, just not going through the motions. That's not the right way to say it. But they're in that uncertainty of, as a franchise, as an organization, like there are directions teams are going. For example, the worst team in baseball right now is the Chicago White Sox. I think, as difficult as this year is, and as difficult as things are going on for that team, they are going through it, and they're trying to build, I believe, with some of the trades they made, a better farm system, and just kind of try to build this from the ground up. We've seen some teams do this rather successfully here recently. There's a pretty famous run through for the Houston Astros when, can't remember what year it was, but they were predicting it correctly that they were going to be the World Series champs like 4 years out because of what they were doing. And they had all these bad years, and all of a sudden, here come the Astros, and what have they been in the American League Championship Series 8 consecutive times? I mean, they've been one of the great organizations in baseball in the last decade. So they had a plan. They executed the plan. It worked. They've been World Series champs. They've been relevant, and they've been a very good baseball team for years. So the A's, though, have by and large, until the last 2 or 3 years, been more of a competitive team. Been able to find a year here and there to win games, to get into the postseason, to get a wild card berth, even with kind of the same premise of building up some of their key players, moving on from them, getting fans frustrated at how the organization is run. But now it's past that point. They're leaving Oakland, abandoning the franchise and the fans there, and not really looking out for them in any way, shape, or form. Coming to Sacramento, which here has that divided a bit. I'm a fan of them if that's their option, or if an option is they have to leave Oakland, which I've maintained. Dave and I are agreeing on that part. I think we both agree if everything can be right and they can stay in Oakland, that's option number one. It's certainly looking like that will not happen. And if that were the case, I don't want to see them go to any other location as long as Sacramento is an option. If they can come here, I'm for it. Even if they are worse than the White Sox this year, for 3 years, for 4 years, I would love to see professional Major League Baseball. I should say Major League Baseball, not professional, because we have the minor leagues here. But Major League Baseball right here in our town. I would love it. I would think that was great. But now I'm talking about the players, the people here, the people that are in Oakland, the people that have to live with this and choose their path in their careers and get drafted by this organization, get traded to this organization. What is the direction? And right now, I always try to put myself in the position of these people that are in these spots and try to understand what they're doing. And I don't understand John Fisher. I don't. And, some people are like, well, he's ultimately trying to make more money. I think so. But I don't, there's been blocks and roadmaps and difficult things, and I think he could have been out long ago and done just fine. But for him to continue to not run these organizations to his best, with frustration with the Earthquakes, with frustration with the A's, and then, Chris, I try to see the end game, and it's like, okay, get through Sacramento. I think this is his plan. Get through Sacramento, get to Vegas, and then are they thriving? Or is it just, look, someone will build me a new stadium. My team valuation will be up. Maybe somewhere along the line I'll get an offer and I will sell. Like, I don't know what his overall plan is.
I can't see him at this point. I can't see him selling.
Yeah.
And that is, I've said that
right?
to A's. For some reason, I think A's fans that I've talked to have felt better with the idea, oh, he's going to go to Vegas. And once they're in Vegas, he's selling the team.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening, just because I think he just likes having a sports franchise, but at the same time, he doesn't want to invest in a sports franchise.
Yeah, even that I think there's part of that that's probably true, but I think a lot of the times we see those that own a sports franchise, what they like about it is the status of it, and to be seen and to sit in the box, to sit center court, to have all the perks that, to be one of the few that, hey, I own a professional team. I just don't see him out. And he never goes to A's games because he can't, right? Like,
but even before then,
yeah, like he has never really operated it that way to me.
Like, who even really knew who John Fisher was before?
Yeah.
Like, he took control of the team.
Right. And so to do that, you want some, become very prominent, forward facing, like Mark Cuban came right. I didn't know Mark Cuban before that. And here's Mark Cuban. You heard a little bit about him. And then here he is. And he's like, okay, now we all know Mark Cuban. And that's fine. That's the way he's chosen to operate the Mavericks. You get to see him. He's there. He's with the team. That's one of the perks of having the team. You can sell. He just did. That's all fine, but I don't get the end game of Fisher. And now I think for the better part of 2 to 3 years, everyone's like, sell the team, sell the team, sell the team. And, there's pride, there's ego, there's stubbornness. I feel like now I'm not doing that now.
I actually have a better idea of understanding why Fisher does what he does, because he can. I don't know why Major League Baseball allows him to do it.
That's also a great question. They're going to do what they can to protect owners, but they also need to do what they can to protect their own business.
Because if what I'm seeing as another owner, what I'm being told by watching this whole thing, oh, you know what? I don't have to pay for players. I don't have to pay for upgrades. I don't have to put any of my own money in. And Major League Baseball will find me a way to either get the city I'm in to build me a stadium or some other city to build me a stadium. And there is the worse I am, the better it is for me to get what I want.
Yeah.
Which isn't a good incentive.
Right. So again, I could see the path.
And that only works for rich people.
Yeah. Look, we hated it when it was happening here. I understood what the Maloofs were doing. Didn't like it. Didn't approve of it. Didn't want it to happen. But you're like, okay. Look, if I own the team, I would like to think I would do it differently. But you're going, I've got this incredible financial opportunity in Seattle. They're going to pay me this amount for this team that we bought for this. It is a business. I'm going to hurt a lot of people, but I guess I'm looking out for myself. We're going to make a lot of money. I saw it. I hated it, but I'm like, kind of made some sense. This doesn't make sense to me.
The one question, it's never been asked to John Fisher, but he rarely does the interview. But the one question I would love for him to answer is, why do you deserve the Oakland A's more than Oakland?
Yeah, right.
He doesn't have an answer for that.
Right.
He doesn't deserve them more than anybody else.
Yeah. And so, again, I think, and then the common thing, I said this when being in Vegas the last 2 or 3 summer leagues, asking people there unofficially, like I said, cab drivers, Uber drivers, just different people in the community. And this time getting the sense like, no, they're building the stadium whether the A's come or not. A lot of them want baseball, but not Fisher and the A's. And so, it just, in Sacramento, I feel the same way. I think people would, like myself included, love to see the A's here. But like if Vivek somehow got the ownership, that would be different. But if it's Fisher, I don't know. There's just a lot of that feeling. And Oakland's upset with him. He's got a lot of people upset with him. And for A's fans, I just truly, in the end, feel for them the most. But a lot of times they are the last ones considered. All right, we got the 7 o'clock hour coming up here of the show. In this hour, we will get you more on the Bay Bridge series. We're going to look at and see if we can come up with the best team between the two since 2000 to now. We got a recap of the trade deadline, 3 for Madness. But when we come back, day 4 at the Olympics. Yesterday featured some amazing finishes, some great gymnastics, and Jimmer was back. Not the best day for him and Team USA in 3x3. We'll talk about that, medal count update, and more. Day 4 at the Olympics recap is next.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of those spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Quick Quack Car Wash takes the drama out of keeping your car clean.
Let's wash the car. Don't spray the hose inside the car.
Our convenient wash packages make it easy to get your car soaked, scrubbed, and on your way. Protect your car from sun, rain, and pollen with a ceramic duck wash and get our in-wash light show and an unbeatable clean.
Oh, the kids filled the gas tank with water.
Of course they did. Quick Quack Car Wash. Come in today and get 25% off any wash.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
Whitey here, reminding you that not all gas grills are created equal. Bring out all the delicious flavors in your grilled meats with the amazing Napoleon Prestige and Prestige Pro line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro with features other grills cannot match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Made with premium stainless steel that boasts quality and a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. Napoleon grills and accessories are now available at your nearby Amy's, Ace Hardware in Sacramento, and now El Dorado.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley's coming to town. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Harmony, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by The Scoundrel Red Wine, Naturewood Home Furnishings, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
Coming up 1 hour from now, Sean Cunningham, local legend.
I wish you weren't a liar.
No, he's coming on. Oh, is it the legend part? Chris has sent him the, like a warning text, let him know, hey, we got about an hour. Sean normally is not up this early, and I don't blame him for that. Those of you that
he's a night owl.
Yeah, those of you that are up this early we appreciate that. I would say you're probably more of a night owl. I have been more of a night owl, but things change. Even though sometimes we talk about how you and I play dominoes together, I'm like, oh, Chris is still awake. Okay. And then I fire one back. Oh, he fired. Okay. I guess we're both awake.
Here we go.
I go, man, Chris is going to have a short night's sleep. I go, well, I guess I have the same short night's sleep coming up. So So Sean Cunningham is an hour away from us joining, and we'll kind of talk about all things. He's been at Niners camp, certainly Kings, Giants, all sorts of stuff coming up when Sean joins us. We will have 3 for Madness coming your way in a moment. In the last hour, we were talking about baseball movies. I missed this on the text line, 916-339-1140. Let's see. Bad News Bears is a classic. Yeah, I like Bad News
Something
Bears.
that, I mean, I know that they redid it, but you can never make that movie again.
Oh, from the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That one.
I remember my mom showing me that as a little kid, and me as a little kid like, I don't think I should be watching this.
This movie I did not see, and hey, it's the texter's opinion. Why does the movie Cobb never get a mention? One of my favorites. I didn't see Cobb.
I remember it way back in the day.
Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah.
I believe you. If that's one of your favorites. I don't know that
Not
that
a
was,
good guy.
Exactly.
I think that's what prevents me from enjoying something like that.
Yeah. I mean, now I don't think no offense. I like Tommy Lee Jones. I think he's a good actor, but I just
Oh, him in No Country for Old Men, forget about it.
Him in Fugitive, forget about it. U.S. Marshals. And other stuff.
The House Bunny.
The House Bunny?
Is he in that? He's in one of those movies.
With Anna Faris?
It's some movie where he's watching the girls' college team or something like that.
When I think of Tommy Lee Jones or something else.
Batman Forever, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, did you see Double Jeopardy? The one in New Orleans?
Is that with
he's the
Ashley Judd?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that movie.
I don't think I saw the end of the movie for some reason.
Yeah, that one I've seen many times, and if it's on, it's an easy rewatch. I like that movie. Oh, Man of the House, is that it?
Man of the House, that's it.
Thank you, Troy Perry, checking in on our YouTube chat, letting us know. All right, so again, Sean Cunningham joining us in about 1 hour from now.
I don't care.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. Woo! Just did a Peter Pan right off the edge. Get yourself a cane pole and catch the fish that ate him. As we recite fugitive lines. You switched the samples.
And you doctored your research.
So
that you could have Provasic. That genuinely makes Dave mad.
Yes.
That I know all of that
and never saw
scene
the movie.
and never seen the movie.
My friend Richard is not well. Where's that accent coming from? All right. So the Olympics yesterday, day 4 at the Olympics. The highlights yesterday I talked about the thought of if you watched in day 3, the men's team gymnastics win. I thought it was the true essence of Olympic sport. It was bronze, which our Team USA men's gymnastics team could not have been more thrilled that they medaled. Of course, they would have loved gold and or silver, but they medaled and they got bronze and they went nuts. Part of it was the drought the team had. The other part was they were just thrilled with what they did. There was individual honors. There was team honors. They celebrated together as a team. They were locked in, supported one another. To me, I thought it was refreshing. It was heartwarming. You watched it and you go, these guys are awesome. Good for them. And I said yesterday when I watched even the after party, they were family. They're really celebrating. They get back into the studios where Mike Tirico is. He's interviewing them. Some of the guys are like, yeah, this is the best day of my life. And you're just like, that's what you want to hear. That's what you believe. Where sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm just out to get the next gold medal or this, or I was expected to win gold and I came up short and I'm upset. It was, to me, true essence of competition.
I think if I were to be an Olympic athlete, my preference would be someone that is in the middle of the pack.
And then you overachieve?
Or even just finish
fifth. Like where you were supposed to. You're like, I did what I was supposed to.
Just so it's something that I experienced it. I was an Olympic athlete.
Yeah.
One of the there was this one social media thing going around, and they're just videoing outside of the Olympic Village, and they said, without saying any words, what sport are you competing in?
Oh, okay.
And so people were coming by, and one person would act like they're swimming, and then one person was table tennis, and then one was boxing, and then you could see progressively all of the athletes almost waiting for their turn to show what they're doing. It's oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah, this is what I do. I want people to recognize me. Yeah. And so you had that moment as a contrast, though, from the men's to the women's yesterday. And there was nothing wrong with the women's team. They were favored. You have an Olympic legend in Simone Biles. And, Chris, they cannot not have a camera in her face.
No.
I mean, like, it's not her routine. It's some other country going, let's pan to Simone. It is her routine. We're in her face. It's, I mean, you see from every angle, every facial expression, it's like, man, I mean, it's I guess the price of stardom and fame and all this stuff she's done. But Team USA was in a little bit of a different, for the women's gymnastics, in a different spot. Doesn't make it different, or it doesn't make it better or worse. It was just different. And they were supposed to win. They did win. It was also awesome. And she was great. Her teammates were great. But it was an interesting compare and contrast between the men's and women's gymnastics over the last 2 days. Also, yesterday, day 4 at the Olympics, we saw Jimmer Fredette play on 3-on-3. Both men's and women's lost yesterday in 3-on-3, but apparently the Team USA going against Serbia on the men's side, that's one of their toughest matchups, if not their toughest matchup. So we'll see how they do. I think Jimmer even afterwards like, well, we lost to the best team on the planet.
It's Jokic doing here.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to see. I didn't watch a lot of it. That's the one. I've been watching everything. I just saw bits and pieces of that. So I'd like to get another look at that. And then coming up here in 3 for Madness, we're going to talk about one of the many amazing things that happened yesterday. But we'll play you the audio of the Rugby Sevens finish. You and I had heard about that, or I saw it on Twitter before I left the station yesterday, and I was just I'm like, I got to see this. What's the reaction? Then I found it, and we both found, and you even said, like, why is it was it a Spanish call?
Yeah, on Twitter early, it was just the Spanish call.
So then later in the day, I was talking to my wife about it. I said, you got to see this. And then I went to hit the link that I sent you. I'm like, oh, it was removed from Twitter. And so I found the other version, but I don't know where the
American
Spanish
version,
one.
which is really the Australian version.
Yeah, and it's also cut late. Like I don't like where they cut it. They cut it like almost right at the play.
Yeah.
As opposed to the other one had much more of a lead, and you're like, this is over. Like it's done. But Team USA and Rugby Sevens getting their first rugby medal ever, and that was dramatic. That was really cool.
Did you see our girl Alana Marr saying like how proud she was and saying like that we need to be invested in because we could go further and everything like that? There was a woman there, I believe, I can't remember. She owns a few sports, like women's sports teams. I want to say like 2 soccer teams in Europe and one, I want to say one of the WNBA teams.
Okay.
But like that day, like invested $4 million into the women's rugby team.
Oh, wow.
It's like, oh man.
And
but like that, we talked about like, I don't want to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
But I am so pumped for like the women's rugby team at the Olympics in LA.
And then what we learned as the day went on, I'm like, Chris, look at how full the stadium is. And you're going for a 14-minute game. This match is going to be over. And then I think halftime's like a minute and a half or 2 minutes. It's literally like 20 minutes. And then we go, oh, okay, the other semifinal's going on. Oh, wait, now the bronze medal match is going on. Oh, now the gold medal. Like if you get to see 4, it's like, okay, now I see why the stadium's so like that's a good day out there.
I think the other thing she said was like, if you give us a chance, we can fill more stadiums than just this one. It's like, yeah, I want to go now.
Yeah, I mean, like some of those things that end up traveling and touring, sometimes like, hey, we're going to be at your city. I'm like, but this one would be interesting, especially now that Lana Marr is just incredible. And, like the Savannah Bananas, let's say, like that thing has taken the world by storm, and they were just out in West Sac here not long ago. It's just like that kind of thing.
Oh, they sold out National Stadium.
Yeah, it's crazy how those things can catch fire, and we'll see if the U.S.
And what's the
Rugby
new
does.
thing? Is it Galaxy Baseball?
Oh, I don't know.
They
what
play
that is.
in the black lights.
Oh, wow.
Where it's like glow baseball,
Glow ball.
basically.
Man, that's a little frightening, but also cool at the same time. All right, still to come in this hour, we will look at the Major League Baseball trade deadline winners and losers, A's and Giants, their role. Dodgers were busy. Nobody was busier than the Marlins, though. Their team that, remember, was in the playoffs last year, and they just gutted their team. We'll talk about that. But next, 3 for Madness. 3 questions, 3 answers, including which was the crazier finish yesterday. We'll give you 2 options from the Olympics. We've got that coming up here on Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an
athletic move, that time by Malik Monk.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
I'm a very active person that likes to move around and go. The pain I was in was really excruciating. It was actually debilitating. I was basically heading towards a sedentary lifestyle. I had really tried everything, but I quickly lost hope with all of the things that we had tried, and that's what led me to the Good Feet store. And when I found the Good Feet system, it really just changed everything. It brought me back to life. I have my active lifestyle back.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Hot summer savings now at Maida Chevy with $12,000 off MSRP on every new Silverado half-ton Turbo Max in stock after rebates.
$12,000 off every Silverado LT Turbo Max at Maida Chevy with at least 5 at this price.
Hot summer savings up to $12,000 off MSRP exclusively at Maida Chevy at MaidaChevy.com. Sacramento Silverado headquarters. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers. Must pay in 2010 model year or newer and 7/31/24.
Made a great deal of Maida.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All right, question 1 coming your way in just a moment. Another entry, Chris and Tommy Lee Jones. Men in Black.
Of course.
Yeah.
Men in Black 2.
I didn't see Men in Black 2. Is it in there? Is there a third one?
Yes. I believe there's a fourth one too.
But are they not in it anymore at that point? I know I saw the first one, like the first one. I'm trying to think. I don't think I saw the second one. Yeah.
Like the last one that they did, like the international one, I don't believe that they're in. But I also didn't see it. Maybe they did a cameo.
That felt like an odd pairing at the time, but it worked. Will Smith.
It worked
Tommy
really
Lee
well.
Jones. Yeah. All right. Question number 1 in 3 for Madness.
So Colin Jost had what was considered the best gig of the Olympics as the voice of surfing from Tahiti. He now has a staph and ear infection. Would you still want his job if that happened to you?
Not if that's the choices that would happen. Like, I'm not interested in a staph infection or an ear infection. Tahiti sounds fun and nice. I guess you could try to do that and avoid those things, but he was trying to really become, I would say, a man of the people, a man of the sport. By the way, did you see the surfing picture?
He was talking about that. He was out in the water when that happened.
That is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. If you haven't seen it, the guy that ends up winning, basically, I've seen the video now and how they capture the picture. He's finishing coming through like he's hiding behind the wave. He's in the curl of the wave. He gets through and he's like doing like a 10.
He does like a number 1.
And then he just shoots out the wave and he looks like he's levitating and he's got a number 1 up. And where they capture the photo, he's peak out of the water, boards to his right. It's also straight up. And I mean, it just looks like he's levitating or flying no other way. And then like the end of it, then he just like like a belly flop back into the water. But it's an amazing photo.
So Colin Jost is talking about that and saying how incredible it was. He says that he doesn't think that he was saying that he was number 1. He said that he was looking at Colin Jost and he said he was guessing that the surfer was guessing how many toes Jost was going to lose on this trip.
Just one. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If I could change, I guess, jobs with anyone, we're not talking athletes here. It wouldn't have been Colin Jost, though. I like his overall job's pretty fun. If I had that creative ability at SNL and to deliver the news and the way he does and all that stuff. But it's the guy, Scott Hansen, the guy who's now in the Gold Zone. I still haven't really taken that in, but I love his NFL Network work in the Red Zone. Like that would be a fun job to be just bouncing back and forth between venues and keeping everybody caught up. Like that, I think is a fun job.
I think that would be stressful.
Probably.
And because you're being told everything. Like,
yeah,
I think people don't realize like how much he's going off of what he's hearing.
Yes.
Figuring out what they're saying, giving his spin on it. Then as he's doing that, being told something else, doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Where I think he's truly amazing is when they're bouncing back and forth. Let's say go back to the Red Zone and bouncing back and forth between games. We all know who Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen is. It's when, there's a block kick, somebody scoops it up and scores. Oh, we got a score in Washington. And it's like, that's the third string corner. And maybe someone's telling him that in his ear, but sometimes he's on it.
Yeah.
Like without help. And you're like, how did you know who that was?
And he's like, because I watch 16 games a day.
Exactly. And he knows who everybody is. So it's like preparing to do play-by-play for every game. He says, and I always laugh at this, but he says the question he gets asked the most is about his bathroom breaks. And I've seen him break that down where he's like, he literally stops consuming liquid a certain amount of hours before, and then he'll have stuff. But like I can believe, like, if you're really working and locked in and I've had to do broadcasts where you just can't leave, and it's not as long as that, but we've had like 5 hours and just like, yeah, I'm stuck in a press row or like in an opportunity, like you just really can't leave your seat. So you just adjust. And so that's the question he gets asked more. But yeah, how about you? Would you want that gig that Colin chose to ask?
No.
Not if we get you the
I
staff.
want to be in the middle of the action too.
Yeah. Question number 2.
Question 2.
Crazier finish yesterday. France's 4-point play or U.S. women's rugby?
All right. Well, I think if you haven't seen them, they both were equally bizarre. The France's 4-point play, we actually saw in here. We were Chris Watkins was watching it, and we saw the finish.
I don't think anyone watches more Olympics than Chris.
I know he is totally. He had like 4 screens up, which was cool. Well, let's start with the basketball. This was the 4-point play that kept their hopes alive.
Right to Fournier in the corner. Throws it up to Gobert. Puts it back out. Straddle ball fake. 3 is up, and it's good! To cut it to 1, and he'll go to the free throw line with a chance to tie it up.
So that was wild. They would make the free throw. Japan would have an opportunity, would miss. They would go to overtime. Then Victor Wembanyama would take over. So that was a bizarre finish. Some favorable calls for the home team, let's say, and they got the win. That was one crazy finish. But how about this one?
Well, they're going to have to go the distance here if they're going to take this one to Golden Point. Alona Ma, Ramsey, Cedric, Spiff, Cedric's away. Cedric up over the 50, the 40. She's going to take it all the way. Cedric for the USA. It is level at 12 apiece. The conversion will win the bronze medal for Team USA.
This is going to be the easier kick right down the middle.
There it is.
Oh,
there it is. Cedric with the conversion, and Team USA make history in Paris.
First medal ever. It's a bronze, but they were cooked. They were done. I mean, that's a great walk-off. And to me, Chris, like, look, I don't know a ton about rugby. I've been watching it more. I think what told the whole story, the images, the second after USA scored, there's a pan to the USA sideline, and there's a couple going, oh my, like they're hands on their head, like they can't believe what they just witnessed. And then they go to Australia, and they're crying.
Heartbroken.
Yeah, and like you feel for them, you're like, they had it. They had the medal. That to me is the crazier finish. That was crazy.
Yeah, looking at Australia, it was one of those like just one slip up
at
the end and it's over. And I'm like, oh man.
And there's someone that's running from the outside that was too far behind, but like was really gaining ground. Like if there was about 15 more yards, it may not have worked. But think about that when you're in the moment of breaking free and you're thinking, this is for a medal. Can I be fast enough? Like that to me, when I think I always talk about, like I'll still have dreams about sports a little bit, and it's generally like I'm in a situation like that, but I'm not running fast. Like I should be able to get there, and it's like people are catching me, or I just like that fear of like I can't get to the destination. But good for Team USA. That was an awesome finish, and first medal ever in rugby until we go in 2028 and watch them in LA.
Get the gold.
Get the gold. All right, question number 3.
Question 3.
Today is National Avocado Day. Yay or nay on avocado?
Okay, yesterday when it was National Cheesecake Day, I was like, yay-ish, and I like cheesecake. You love cheesecake. We learned it was pumpkin cheesecake for you.
We did see a coconut cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory.
That would be calling your name. I mean, really, I like cheesecake. It's sweets. I'm going to be generally...
You like sweets?
I like sweets. I generally going to lean that way, but it wouldn't be my first choice of desserts. I said this, if you got cake, pie, cookies, certainly ice cream. I'm doing all that first, but like cheesecake. On this case, National Avocado Day, don't you like your avocados from Chile?
Haas avocados from Chile?
Yes.
I prefer my Mexican avocados.
Yeah, I like any kind of avocados. Avocados are great. Such a versatile item in the sense that Go in a salad, guacamole, go in eggs, go in a sandwich. It's a good compliment piece, right? I don't know. I don't often have avocado on its own. I'm trying to think. Not much. But you put it in just about anything, and it's a hit.
You ever have a Balt?
What's that?
BLT with avocado.
Oh. Is that where it goes? Isn't it BLTA?
I just call it.
Okay. To make it sound better. I was
It sounds like a word.
Yeah, I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right. Yes. BLTs are underrated.
It depends. I think like the tomato really has to gain ground. You can't just use like a regular tomato.
They're all equally important, I think. I mean, I wouldn't say it's hard to screw up the lettuce, but I mean, you want your lettuce really crispy, and I want the bacon crispy. Like I don't want that bacon that's chewy in a BLT.
Best BLT I've had in Sacramento, the Limelight.
Really?
Yeah. Because they do it with like a ciabatta bread, I believe.
Yeah,
and
bread's always important in a sandwich.
Then they use goat cheese,
cheese on it,
cherry tomatoes, bacon, and I think like an arugula.
Okay.
And it's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
where have you been all my life?
And no avocado in that.
No avocado in that. I got to add it next time.
Yeah, but are you yay or nay on avocado?
Oh, 100% yay.
Yeah, avocado's great. It's great. And what's weird is my wife isn't very picky about her. Like that's one of the things she doesn't like.
Really?
Just doesn't prefer it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I want to put avocado in so many different things. My son and I have them all the time. It's like, oh, hold the avocado. Oh man, really? It's so good in here. You got it. Oh, you don't like it. Never mind. And that's hard.
Is it with like consistency with like a lot of people?
Like, I don't know that there's a strong taste to it. I mean, not an overpowering to me. It's just a good, to me, texture and compliment to a lot of meals. I don't know. Love it. Guacamole's done right. Perfect. All right, there you go.
No tomatoes in the guacamole.
What's that?
No tomatoes in the guacamole. No? That's what I learned. I think it just takes away from it.
I like it. Yeah. Doesn't have to have it, but I like it in there. All right, here you go. When we come back, busy day yesterday with Major League Baseball trade deadline. Did you like what the Giants did? Some of you I felt like did. Some of you didn't. The A's were busy. The Dodgers appear to have done some good things here and getting flaherty from the Tigers. We'll talk about the trade deadline moves and more when we come back here on Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
I got hungry here talking about all this great food out there and avocado, but also I want to tell you about how you need to have your focus on your decision making. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about in case you're in need of help, representation. You're got in a pinch and you don't know where to go, who to call, who's going to help me. Well, I'm here to help you with that decision. You can contact SACLegalDefense.com. It's the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez, again at SACLegalDefense.com. Now, we hope, and he hopes too, that you're not in a position of need of representation. But look, life happens. Things happen to you, accidents, mistakes. Sometime, maybe when you were younger, look, we all did some foolish things, and sometimes that's a mistake that just comes and goes and no big deal. But sometimes that's a mistake that lingers and hangs around. You're like, man, I was this age and something happened, but like, why is this still following me? Well, he's someone that can help you out with that representation because he does expungement, something that's keeping you from doing something now. He can help you with that. They can have it removed from your record. Maybe there was an auto accident and you think, man, I could use a little bit of help here legally to get through this. Or certainly we see this a lot, and a lot more of this has been happening over the years, wrongful termination cases, helps in all that and more. And to find out what the more is, you can, like I said, you can go to SACLegalDefense.com. And I suggest you get to know Jonathan Gonzalez. He's here. He's local. He wants to help. He's one of us from our city. He's a name and a person you can get to, call, and you'll trust, and he's here to help. So again, it's the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez at SACLegalDefense.com, or call him at 916-304-9187.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kip Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kip Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
Thanks again for all of you joining us. We're about 30 minutes away from Sean Cunningham, local sports reporter. Been in the business a long time. Got great connections. Well liked. He's going to join us at 8 o'clock.
If he doesn't do his homework, do we have to say, all right, go do it now and then come back when you're done?
Yeah, we put him on pause. The homework, though, is about a 5-minute exercise.
Yeah.
That really Chris is behind, and you don't think he'll have done his homework.
No. I think he's waking up at like 6:57.
Or 7:57?
7:57.
Yeah. Put a hat on, which is, and maybe he sleeps in the hat. Who knows?
I'm sure he sleeps in the hat.
There's a good chance of that. There was a time where I would say you, Sean, and there was someone else that it was like, ooh, who would not wear the hat first? And now you never wear a hat.
No.
You get a good head of hair.
I do. I didn't realize I had a good head of hair.
I know. Wasn't your fear that you were going to, like, your hair was going to be gone?
I knew I was going to be bald.
By this age.
Yeah, because all my cousins are, like, all my uncles are bald. My cousins are bald. When, like, our younger cousin came in the other day, it's like, oh, my God.
That's not a good reaction. I don't know how it all goes, but I think you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, once I got to 30 and I still had my hair, I'm like, oh, I should grow this out.
I mean, and I know things can change, but I mean, like, some people are like, oh, they're losing it. Like, there's not even a sign to me for you.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. You
took good for you.
No, you know what? It doesn't really, I mean, some people make fun. I don't know. It doesn't really bother. There was a time when it bothered me, but now it's like, there's an ease to it. Like, I literally, like, it wouldn't bother me if I had a head of hair, like a nice head of hair like you. I'm like, oh, I would get up early and get it nicely coiffed and ready to go. But now that I don't have that situation, it's like, yeah,
you're
the ease
saving
of it,
a lot of money too.
Yeah, exactly. But people, I've even had people like, oh, we gotta get shampoo, and they look at me. I'm like, no, I still shampoo my head.
Really?
I do. Sometimes it's soap. Sometimes it's shampoo. It's just not a lot up there, if any. The other thing, we always seem to hit a chord here with our listeners, and we appreciate that because we like people with differing views, differing opinions, but also sometimes it's nice to have kind of the same vibe, same feeling. Whenever we talk about food, I feel like everybody's got something to say about that. We were mentioning Avocado Day, but if you could throw that into BLT or even BLTs in general, where do we get here? We've got avocado with tahini is one of their favorites. Lightly toasted sourdough is a key to the BLT.
I like that.
Avocado and cucumber with adobo salt or tahini. Okay. Yeah. Look, all these are winners. I have not had a lot of tahini, but it's good. I don't keep, like, some people just have it in their, I don't. No, we don't have it in our house. Tahini's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have it? Is it like a regular
of course
thing? Yeah. Okay. There we go. Also on our chat line, which I was waiting for this, our guy Campeo, a regular in bold, so we know he's yelling with a couple of exclamation points. Fire Farhan. Well, I asked going to break, how did Giants fans feel about their action? I said yesterday when they had made their first move, moving on from Soler, and we talked yesterday about that with the Bay Area sports guy from the Athletic, Steve Berman, and the Giants had kind of picked that weird position where they were buying and selling at the same time. And then they validated that yesterday with a later addition, which was found out that they did kind of right before the deadline. And they added a veteran bat in Mark Canha, which A's fans should know, local fans should know, was good with the A's. And he's bounced around a little bit since then. I think it's been the Mets and the Tigers. Versatile player, can play multiple positions, reunited with Bob Melvin. I don't look at that deal and go, wow, Giants did it. And not that they had to make that move to, I don't know what that move would have been. Like, okay, Giants are buyers. This is going to make a world of difference. sometimes these subtle moves can play in your favor, but I had said from the get-go, I thought the Giants should have been sellers, and I still think they could have been sellers more aggressively and still maintained the position they're in, which is kind of in the wild card race. There would have been close enough regardless if they gutted the team to be in the wild card race. But I think that could have been a message to what's the message to the fans today if you're the Giants? And Campeo's one of them. That's his logo, is a Giants logo. His reaction is fire Farhan. It's not the only one saying that. I'm sure some of you others have said that. But what's the message to Giants fans with the moves that they have made? Moved out some people with some contracts that basically Farhan was wrong on, and Soler. Luke Jackson wasn't performing for them. Cobb gets moved. They bring in Mark Canha, some minor leaguers in the Braves deal. And it's what? Where are we going? Mark Canha, again, fine player, versatile, could be plugged into the lineup, a helpful bat. I'm sure there'll be some plays where he helps them win in the last 2 months here. But I just don't feel like – I feel like they straddled the fence. They did not pick a clear-cut direction. And either be way more aggressive in the buying and purchasing of talent and really go for it and say, hey, look, if we get there with our first 3 pitchers in Webb, Snell, and Robbie Ray, like we could do some damage. Or, and helpful bats, let's go. Or it's, like you just need a chip in a chair to get in and see what we can do. They did that in a couple of their World Series runs. Or is it, let's gut this thing a bit. Let's really change the course of this franchise. Let's add to our farm system. Let's try to turn this as quickly as possible and also kind of go that same direction and wait for that offseason, strike on some moves, and let's go. But they went in between, and their first game played in between was yesterday with the A's, and the A's did what they love to do, is beat one of their rivals, and that's the Giants. So Giants had a tough day yesterday in that sense, losing an important game. Being a part of the trade deadline, but just a part of it is how I would label that. Not a significant part, not a difference-making part. They just participated. I guess they weren't absent. I'll give them some credit for that, but that would be just some credit, not much more than that. So that was part of yesterday's news with the trade deadline. The Giants, the A's. Look, we kind of know, I would say we know where they are and what they're doing. Not entirely, but they have been rebuilding. But my question to them would be, rebuilding for what? Are they trying to be better in Sacramento? Are they trying to peak when they're in Vegas? Are they waiting to get all the way to Vegas and then start this? Or under this regime, will they ever be that team that's competitive? Look, we could hate it and disagree with it, but there are multiple ways to run a franchise. And sometimes some teams use it and owners as truly the business part. And if you can cut costs in certain areas and make money at the gate and through television deals and merchandising and all that stuff, you can make money. And it is a business. And others like, look, I'm trying to win at all costs. I'll spend all the money. I want the best players. I want to be this branding. People talk about us, be a national team. That's another way. I know which way I prefer is not the way the A's are doing it, at least at the moment. So A's move on from Paul Blackburn. They make a couple of the moves around the edges. And again, they just try to keep building from within. And you just hope they don't keep doing what they've done in the past where they build Simeon and Chapman and Olsen and then wave them goodbye and watch them flourish on other teams. A couple other things that happened with the trade deadline yesterday. The team that I would say overall stood out the most to me, and this would be in the selling market, would be the Marlins. They're having a terrible year, but the irony of this is the Miami Marlins were in the playoffs last year. I think people forget that. So from just last season, less than a year ago, calendar year, they were a postseason team trying their best to replicate that this year. Certainly wasn't happening, and then they're going, all right, let's go, let's move. And this team has done this probably more than any other franchise where they've had some tastes of success. They've had a World Series or two. And then they fire sale and gutted the team. This team has done that multiple times. Miami at, what's their record? 39-68. Just a dreadful year. But again, they picked a direction, took advantage of the amount of teams that are in the race, and said, how can we get better? Well, let's trade with this team. Let's trade with that team. We mentioned Jazz Chisholm earlier. They traded with the Yankees. They've traded with multiple teams, really transformed their roster and what they hope will be a farm system to come, and build it that way and make another run at it in the years to come. So they picked a path, they had a plan, and they executed it. And the other one that I think got some attention for whom they added was the Los Angeles Dodgers, already one of the better teams in baseball. Second best record in the National League overall. They've got a stacked lineup when all healthy. Obviously, Mookie Betts is still out, but he'll be coming back. Freeman's been banged up here. They've been carried by Shohei Ohtani. And they're waiting for all that pitching to come through. Walker Buehler has come back this season. Kershaw's now back. But they had a Jack Flaherty. He was really good with the Cardinals, then with the Tigers. And now I think one of the better starting pitcher acquisitions at the trade deadline. So, to say the rich get richer, but they were aggressive. They went for it. And I think sometimes that is also a testament to an organization that knows what they have, knows what they're playing for and going for, and that gives a new jolt to the clubhouse going, all right, look, they want to do whatever they can to win. Flaherty could come in and be awful, but the point is that was one of the coveted names in the pitching area, and they nabbed him. They went for it, and they got it. So Blake Snell was another name like that, ends up staying as a Giant. We'll see if that backfires and hurts San Francisco, or does that benefit them in the remaining starts he has this season for the Giants. The other note I want to bring up from the trade deadline, in baseball, if you can get to the postseason, besides starting pitching nowadays, the other thing that's so paramount is the bullpen. And the Padres went that route. They keep adding to a pretty lethal bullpen. Now, I don't think they're going to catch the Dodgers. There's time to do it. I think they're about 6 back. But in the wild card race, they are now tied for the second spot, half game clear of the Diamondbacks, only a half game back of the Braves. If they could get in and their pitching is right, that's a team based on the acquisitions that I think could do some damage as well. Some damage as well. All right. Again, coming up, we will visit with Sean Cunningham. That's at 8 o'clock. When we come back, we had the Bay Bridge series last night. And the A's took the first one, 4 home runs in the game. They'll play again today. Then they have the 2-game set in Oakland in a few weeks. But we'll try to field a lineup of Giants and A's since 2000 for our all Bay Bridge team. This isn't all time. This is just since 2000 because, with apologies to Willie Mays and some of the older A's that were in the World Series all the time. We're going since 2000 to now, field a lineup of Giants and A's around the horn to see what we can do for the all Bay Area team since 2000. We'll do that exercise next.
Malik Monk plays here.
Started left, goes right, steps back, launches the 3. Nothing but net. Oh, that was just filthy. Oh, my, that was sweet.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
10. Nice work. Thanks. Taking Nugenix Total T makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas, right?
Yes.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yes. Nugenix is a great way to feel stronger with more energy and endurance. And as Frank says, you'll like it too.
Text radio to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix. Text RADIO to 321-321. That's radio to 321-321.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Celebrate Sacramento Rivercats baseball during our 25th anniversary season. Pick your favorite weekly promotion, giveaway game, or theme night, and join the fun at Sutter Health Park. Stick around post-game every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with the brightest fireworks in town. For a full promotion schedule and to buy tickets, visit rivercats.com. We'll see you there.
place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
All right, back here on the show again. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to visit with Sean Cunningham and kind of spray to all fields with Sean, see what's going on with him, and see if he's done his assignment that Chris has. Should we let everybody know what the assignment is?
Sure.
Okay. So where did you find this assignment for him?
This is one of my favorite podcasts right now. It's the Lonely Island podcast, and it's the Lonely Island from Saturday Night Live and Seth Meyers. They once a week go through a digital short that they created and just basically talk about how they came up with it, what their idea was for it, how it happened, and then they give a little bit of what happened on that week's SNL as well.
And
so as an SNL geek, it's something that I really like.
And he is one as well. He likes the show. We like the show. And this was an assignment of to listen to what was a table read, like you said.
So on this week's episode, obviously everyone knows my favorite movie is MacGruber, but they're talking about on the show, it was Yorma Taccone, which is part of the Lonely Island, Will Forte, and John Solomon, who created MacGruber, and they go over all the MacGruber episodes on SNL. And for some reason, someone found an old sketch that Will Forte wrote, and he was a character in, and they just read out a sketch that didn't air on SNL.
Uh-huh.
And if you know who Will Forte is, it's the perfect Will Forte sketch.
He's pretty amazing in it. I got to say that. It was funny. It was a good listen in the office yesterday. And I don't know if he's going to do it in time. We'll see.
I think Will Forte is one of my favorite characters because my favorite piece of comedy is the arrogant idiot.
Uh-huh.
Like the guy that's really dumb, but he's very arrogant about how smart he is, and he doesn't get how stupid he is.
Right.
That's my favorite type of comedy, and I think Will Forte is that.
He leans in on that one.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely
like MacGruber is a perfect.
Yeah.
Like he's really smart at figuring things out, but then you figure out he's just an idiot that doesn't know he's doing it, but he's got so much confidence that he just goes through it.
Yeah, doesn't know that he's the idiot, but he is, and is just kind of enjoying himself, and we get to enjoy that along the way. So again, we'll see if he does that assignment. I gave him the 15-minute warning, so he did respond to me. We'll see if he does listen to that before we talk to Sean, coming up here in about 15 minutes or so. So the Bay Bridge series going on, one of our last ones, if in fact they leave Oakland and come our way.
Does it become the I-80 series then?
Oh, yeah. And what did we call the Warriors Kings thing? Anything? Was that what it was?
I think so.
I mean, they literally played a 7-game classic series. I don't know. NorCal. I don't even know what we called it, but painful is what we called it after Game 7. But the Bay Bridge series last night, A's get the win, 4 home runs. They win 5-2 in the first game. They'll play again today. And we've done this before. We've tried to make a lineup, the best Bay Area 9, let's say, around the horn of the current teams. But I thought we'd change this exercise to the best we could get from the Giants and A's since 2000. And I think some positions are easier to fill. Some are a little bit more difficult. And so I want to run some of these by you. And I'm sure I'm missing because I'm trying to do this the best off the top of my head. And if I'm missing somebody, let me know. I can't think of a better catcher than Buster Posey.
Correct.
Either team, it's Posey, right? He's got to be our catcher.
And with this exercise, it's tough to figure out an Oakland A just because they're not there that long.
Exactly. We've got a few candidates, though, in here. Some of this. When it got to first base, this is, again, since 2000, I'm leaning towards Giambi or Matt Olson, both A's.
So then how do you want to do you want to just take their career as
it has to be as Oakland A's, right?
Yeah, so just with them as the Oakland,
Yeah.
not them as a player overall, but what they did in Oakland.
Well, actually, if I asked you overall, are you taking Giambi for sure?
Well, but then Giambi that's only 3 years
in Oakland.
Yeah. Well, he was there longer, but you're going from 2000 to when he got to the Yankees, 2003.
Somewhere like that. Yeah. So, and some of
so
it,
then that's only
he was in the 90s.
Yeah, that's only 3 years with the A's.
But even just in general, like that's actually an interesting one. Like right away, I go, oh, Giambi's had a better year. And then I was like, last year, I forgot Olsen hit 54 home runs last year. He's had some good years with the A's, certainly now with the Braves. But if I say those two names, who are you feeling?
Olsen.
Yeah. Second base.
And I think it's just because does Giambi's game like work in today's? I could say like yes, but would he be like a Stanton where he's
more DH?
Well, that and he's striking out bunch, but he's putting up home runs. Because remember, back when Giambi was playing, it's just like, hey, go for the home run, but like don't just swing for the fences every single time.
Right.
You have to get on base.
Right. I think second base, let me see the amount of years. Oh, it didn't cry because he was in the late 90s, but it's 2000, 2001, 2002 as a Giant. But actually in 2000, he did win the MVP. Jeff Kent? Is that enough of a...
I mean, if you're putting Giambi up there,
yeah,
I think that does.
But you went with Olsen, right? So if we go Posey, Olsen, Kent, feel good about that so far?
Yes.
Shortstop is an interesting one. And again, if I'm missing someone, text line, YouTube, certainly chime in. We're trying to pick the best Giants and A's at the position since 2000 and field the best 9 we could. I wrote down Tejada, Crawford, and Simeon. All a little bit of different players. I mean, Tejada was great, but that's the longest memory.
Yeah.
Crawford was just rock solid for so many years. And Simeon was good. As you hear those three, which one do you kind of lean towards?
First that came to mind was Tejada.
First one?
Yeah.
I mean, and let me see his time in Oakland, because again, this stuff starts to blend when you go, what year was he actually there? And I know what year did he win the MVP? Miguel Tejada was an A from 2000 also to 2003, but did win the MVP when he was 20.
I don't remember him and Giambi leaving at the same time. Yeah. I guess Giambi left in 2002, and then the next year Tejada left.
Yeah, because Tejada was there from 97 to 2003. So he's there a while, but the years that we're counting, 2000 on, and there's an MVP year, maybe it does have to be Tejada. So now we go Posey, Olsen, Kent, Tejada. Third base, I have Chapman, who's played for both teams, which is kind of cool at third base, and Chavez.
I think you go Chapman.
So we got the cool combo Giants, A's, Chapman. We've got Tejada. We've got Kent. We've got Olsen. We chose Olsen over Giambi, right? And then Posey. Left field, easy. That's Bonds. The rest of the outfield I found a little bit tricky. I have Hunter Pence, I think, as a candidate. It's a little bit thin between the two teams in the outfield. Because again, it would be Ricky Henderson, it would be Willie Mays, but we're not doing all time. We're doing since 2000.
What the other bet that you go Matt Damon, geez,
Johnny Damon.
Yeah,
but not long enough.
Yeah.
Let me see any other outfielders that jump out from Chris Davis,
KD.
Yeah. Cespedes, but he had about a 3-year run. Coco Crisp, if we're talking A's. Reddick. I mean, they're good. They're really good. Giants, I mean, it's been Bonds. Trying to think of other outfield like Angel Pagan. Yastrzemski's been out there for a while now. But the other one that I found to be a challenge, if we got to pitcher, is it easy for you or not? If I ask Bay Area pitcher since 2000, I think the Giants have multiple choices.
Yeah, like
I think their best choice is Mad Bum.
I was actually going to go with Matt Cain.
Oh, and I was besides him, I was thinking Lincecum and even Logan Webb.
But even you could go Tim Hudson.
That's
too.
the other one. I think honestly, I know Hudson doesn't have the same kind of hardware or the World Series, obviously domination that we've seen from Madison Bumgarner, and that's probably why Mad Bum would win. But Hudson was so good with the A's.
Yeah.
He really was.
That was one of those, like, this is the end when Tim Hudson.
When they moved on from him. Yeah. We could all kind of see the writing on the wall. In the bullpen, Rob Nen was pretty great. Like, again, Eckersley would be there, but that was pre-2000. Houston Street maybe for the A's. I'm going back a ways. Mason Miller now is nice, but I don't think there's enough of a resume. But it's a good exercise. It's a good challenge to figure out which.
I think the best entrance for closer was Grant Balfour.
Oh yeah, yeah. YouTubers saying Reddick and Wright. I mean, Reddick was awesome. Others say, how about Zito? Zito pitched for both.
Yeah,
and he was good, but it feels like that's too much of a slight to Mad Bum, to Lincecum, to Kane, to Hudson. Man. Yeah. Someone's suggesting Sergio Romo. Yeah. But I think
if you took if you had a starting rotation of those players, though, that would be incredible.
That'd be pretty lethal. I think you'd have the team. I think you'd have a team in the Bay Area that would do just fine. All right, when we come back, we will get started with the 8 o'clock hour. We promised him he's coming your way. Sean Cunningham. We will cover lots of different topics with Sean, from the Kings to the Giants, maybe the future of the A's as well, and certainly the 49ers. He's been at their camp. We'll try to get the latest with him, what's going on. Still to come in the 8 o'clock hour as well. Who's hot, who's not. We'll go streaking. We have day 5 of the Olympics, what to expect today, including Team USA basketball back on the court. We've got all that and more, but Sean Cunningham joining us next on Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Welcome to your Wednesday. Out the door to a comfortable start this morning. As we head through the afternoon, we'll see hazy sunshine around. We'll have light southwest winds and temperatures noticeably warmer, highs pushing towards the upper 90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Your water heater, old, rusty, forgotten, we hardly ever even think about them until there's no hot water. Right now, get incredible rebates up to $3,000 off and financing available for as little as $40 a month. Leave it to Bonnie to crank up the heat.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley's coming to town.
What was I thinking? I'm getting drunk all the time.
Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Farmley,
I love you just the way
Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by The Scoundrel Red Wine, Naturewood Home Furnishings, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then
boom, with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right, we begin the 8 o'clock hour here on Sacktown Sports. Jason Ross, Christopher Laud, Carmichael Dave on vacation. As we take you till 10, Styles and Watkins a little bit later will join us for some crosstalk. But there he is. You see him on your screen if you're watching on our Sacktown Sports YouTube page. If you're listening on the radio, you're going to hear his voice momentarily from Fox 40, former employee here in our building at then Sports 1140. Sean Cunningham.
Get ready for Riley.
Oh my God. What's up, Jay?
How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I awake to a text message from our friend Chris Verlaud with a homework assignment this morning. And does he know who I am? That's just terrible.
No, I said that you weren't going to do it.
I did it.
Oh,
I did it. Not only did I do it, I listened far too long. I was like, should I keep going? Because it got to a MacGruber part, and I know how near and dear MacGruber is to Chris's heart. And
we just really wanted you to listen to the sketch.
Which was brilliant. It
brilliant.
Was absolutely brilliant. So yeah.
Sean, could you imagine? Chris played that for me yesterday, and Chris got into that just giddy laughter, was loving it. I mean, I enjoyed it, but Chris really enjoyed it. I know you can picture him just in the office, just losing his stuff.
It gets to the moment where everyone's laughing, but Chris is going into hysterics, and you're kind of looking at him like, yeah, it's funny, buddy. It's I don't know if it's that funny, but yeah, when he gets tickled, he's a lot like myself. I get going, and Jason has a knack for being able to get me to go. Place to a fit of laughter that most people don't get to.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things I've ever done, is gone to the movies and sat between you two. One movie was awful. The other was okay.
Terrible.
But I'm going to get to one where it's genuinely really funny for all of us. And I don't know if I'll be able to make it through the movie with you two.
No, that should never be done, by the way. I mean, that's a social experiment totally gone wrong.
Well, I'm impressed. Chris and I did not think you would do the assignment, but you did. Good for you.
These are hockey slacks. These are not hockey slacks. They're just slacks, Pam.
Before you came on, I literally said to Jason, "It's not a hockey beer. It's just a beer, Pam."
I actually text Chris at some point this week or last week, and I learning about him. You know, we know how fond he is of SNL, but it's always the stuff that maybe the average person doesn't quite grasp. But Chris is absolutely over the moon for it. And I was like, I think Will Forte is easily your most favorite SNL character.
He loves him. He loves him. Absolutely does. So Sean Cunningham joining us, reporter, Fox 40. We'll cover all sorts of things, maybe even more SNL for sure as well. Sean, we were just doing an exercise that maybe you could help us with. We just had the Bay Bridge series part 1 yesterday with the A's and Giants. And we were trying to come up with the best Bay Area team, not all time, but since 2000. So how would you have broken the tie at first between like Giambi and Olsen? Would you have leaned to, unless there was a giant like JT Snow, but I wouldn't have.
JT Snow did save Darren Baker's life.
That's true.
Forget that. And I do give, Will Clark didn't make it to the 2000s as a Giant, so that was too tough. But yeah, I mean, how do you break the tie? I think simply just maybe postseason success, maybe the steroid era. I don't know. Giambi had such a thing that hovered around him for so long, but it was his brother who didn't slide, right? It was Jeremy that didn't slide against the Yankees, and so I guess you can't blame that on Jeremy. But I don't know. Maybe it feels like I don't even know if this is true. I'm not an A's fan, and I don't really remember it that well, but it feels like Giambi was kind of in the mix for an MVP. Olsen just seems like he had a little bit more of a longer tenure with Oakland. Am I remember that right?
Yeah, that's kind of like you're going maybe more impact, more season success with Giambi, but it was shorter term because he was there, I think, to like 2002, where Olsen was a little bit longer, but maybe not the same kind of stuff. So we had that one. We had where would you fall in line between? We thought this one was tough. Tejada, Simeon, or Crawford.
Oh, wow.
Short. And they're all a little bit
Crawford.
different.
The longevity. I'm maybe it's because I'm a Giants fan, but just the longevity and of course, being one of the best defensive shortstops to ever do it. And I think if you ask the females in the audience, the ladies loved him. So I'm gonna give the tip of the cap there to Crawford, especially he did win 3 championships.
Yeah, we had it. This one might be easier for you. Also, you've said it. You're a fan of the Giants, but pitching candidates like one starter. We had Kane, Lincecum, Mad Bum, Hudson, Zito, but I kind of lean towards Mad Bum.
Oh yeah, Timmy is probably. Matt Kane and Timmy. Timmy. They had no hitters. He had a perfect game. Those things were great. I think Mad Bum probably is the one that maybe gets it over the. Probably, especially what he did at the plate, man.
Throw that in.
It was just he was the youngest of them all. He got to experience all of it. That he came out and he was able to clinch a save against the Royals series. I'd probably have to give it to Mad Bum too. If you're getting a whole rotation, I guess you got to get Zito. He's on both sides of the bay.
Yeah,
meant so much for the A's, and then people forget he was a frustrating player for the Giants, but that he's got a series where he mattered, and against that series and against the Reds was so incredible. They had their backs against the wall, and he came out and pitched a gem. So I liked his time with the Giants. I always felt like he was a unnecessary target at times, but he was crucial for him.
Well, speaking of those Giants, yesterday, I've been saying this, Sean, on the show yesterday and really today, they found a way somehow to straddle the fence on being buyers and sellers. I think they should have been sellers. I know they're quote unquote in the race. I know they've got a favorable schedule coming up, but I don't see it. I don't see the best case scenario for me, Sean, with this team is somehow they get in and that pitching gets hot. And I could see that happening with Webb and Ray and Snell if they kept all those pieces, and they did, but I don't love their lineup. Their hitting has been wildly inconsistent, and I just thought this was an opportunity to reboot a little bit, maybe even become aggressive sellers, but also still stay in the race because everybody's in the race. So I don't know what your make of kind of Farhan and where the Giants are today and where they're going.
Yeah, it's completely frustrating. I was looking back at it. Their biggest offseason acquisition. If I guess, obviously Blake Snell is there, but from an offensive standpoint, it was Jorge Soler.
Yeah.
And I was pretty over the moon for that signing. I think maybe it's just because you talk yourself into it for all the sluggers that have told you no over the recent years, and Ohtani and Aaron Judge, the two kind of poster children for it. But when you really looked at it, you knew they weren't going to be at full strength until right around now. This July going into August, because Robbie Ray was so far away. Alex Cobb has just been, plagued with injury, and you add Blake Snell to that, who has also been hurt, but they didn't expect him to struggle the way it was. So now here you are, you get, you have the Dodger series that doesn't go well, and you position yourself after the series at the Rockies, and you're 3.5 outside the wild card. Should you have been sellers? Maybe, but I kind of wanted them to go for it. I know it's always interesting for fans to want to see them position themselves to do well because of their postseason success and what the wild card has truly meant to a time when they were a dynasty. But I'm with you. I don't have any faith that this Giants team can get it done. I think Farhan Zaidi, the general manager of the Giants, when he was speaking yesterday, I don't disagree with him. They've had a lot of homegrown success. They've had some nice moments, if you will. Tyler Fitzgerald and Elliot Ramos, who's become an all-star. And I remember even a year ago, people going, this guy's not going to totally develop into what they've expected from him. He's kind of a guy who's a little longer in the tooth from a AAA standpoint. He's been here for 3 years in Sacramento, and he hasn't been able to kind of punch through. And Marco Luciano has kind of been up and down and hasn't really been given the opportunity, mainly because defensively he just doesn't look right. So by moving Soler, give him some more at bats, they think they can do it organically, and obviously they've got a pretty nice starting pitching rotation. Hayden Birdsong has become one of those guys that they want to see more of. And, you have just an absolute gem of a performance from Robbie Ray, followed by an absolute terrible performance last night. I mean, I think they can maybe get close. I mean, I do believe, I do understand the notion that, hey, if you go out and win 7 of 10, if all of a sudden you have a series here or there, you can really gain some ground. And, this A's team is terrible. Go out and win this series and you can position yourself well. I understand all that, but to have the faith that they can actually pull through, this team just doesn't sustain winning very well. You might get a series sweep here and there, and you might start to believe again, but it's short-term success. They haven't really shown an ability to go out and win 10 straight. So if that happens, we might be singing a different tune here in the next couple of weeks, but I don't have the faith that they can do it.
What is your opinion of Farhan? Do you think this is a job that he will keep here after the season?
That to me, that's hard to picture. I mean, I think the voices in the national media are going to get a little bit louder. But, there is some success there. I mean, he hasn't been a total failure. I think some of the, homegrown talent, the way they've drafted, I think some guys coming into their own has certainly doesn't get the shine that it should. But what's going to plague this team the most is, managerial change and of not being able to land that superstar. I mean, just striking out everywhere, and the lack of wins, no postseason. That's going to haunt him more than anything, and that's going to be the thing that overshadows, in my mind, his tenure with San Francisco. So yeah, I mean, I don't think to me. Does he have to get into the postseason to keep his job? I don't think that should be a true barometer for him. But if to me, I think there should have already been if it's up to me, I'm looking for somebody else. But if it truly comes down to that might be a little bit disappointing if I'm a Giants fan. Like, it shouldn't take the playoffs for him to save his job. I mean, you can get in the wild card and lose, and what did you really accomplish? So to me, their mind should already been made up. But that's a question for ownership and Larry Baer and guys like that. And I think it was interesting to see the involvement of Bob Melvin over the past 2 days. He comes into yesterday they came in on Monday thinking that the deadline was on Monday, and positioning, trying to, rattle the cage to try and bring in someone like Mark Canha, and for him to call Mark Canha the perfect player to add to this roster at this right time seems absolutely mind-boggling to me, because Mark Canha is just not a good baseball player. I mean, you'd rather have Jorge Soler. I mean, I know there's no analytic for chemistry. If you put him in there and all of a sudden that goes well, sing a different tune, but I just can't picture that being the perfect ingredient to put this team over the top into the postseason.
Talking with Sean Cunningham, sports reporter here locally, Fox 40. So we talked Giants. I want to bounce a couple other things around. I know you've been at 49ers camp. Niners will be opening up here soon with preseason, and then, of course, the regular season. Expectations galore. Did you find when you were at camp, Sean, was there more talk about Ayuk and Trent Williams who weren't there, or the actual guys that were there?
No, it's definitely the ones that aren't there or who are not participating. I mean, that first day, of course, everyone comes out. You're expecting to see maybe Brandon Ayuk on the sidelines. I know it was funny for me, and I've come in with my camera, and that's all I'm looking for. But then right when you walk out on the field, you go, wait, the easiest guy to spot out here is 71, Trent Williams, and he's not here. And all of a sudden, that now takes priority. And me just still honing in on Brandon Ayuk. I don't think anybody even noticed him until he walked in front of the media. I kind of saw him off to the side and got a nice shot of him walking with John Lynch. And, Brandon Ayuk was absolutely the priority. Everything to hone in on him and get him into camp. He's doing a hold in, still reporting, still going through team meetings. But at the time, you don't know what totally to expect that day one. Here we are a week later, and he totally takes a back seat to what this Niners team will do with Trent Williams, because to me, he's the best player in football, even at his age. Just crucial to the team's success and to what makes that offense tick, and giving Brock Purdy the time that he needs to, and Christian McCaffrey the time that they need to be so impactful. And when all of a sudden he now is holding out for a new contract, if you're Brandon Ayuk, that makes you feel a lot less confident about being able to get something done. I will say, I think seeing DJ Williams sign with with Chicago last night. If you're Brandon Ayuk, just kind of gives you another little, bullet in the chamber there to kind of go at 49ers management a little bit with, because that averages out to about 27.5 a year. But I think he's got aspirations north of 30 million per season, and I don't know if that can get done.
At this point, I'm not too worried about either one. I mean, Williams has to be there. That one's like a. Right. Look, no offense to Ayuk, but like they can't go on without Trent Williams. So I think they'll get. I think they'll get there with Ayuk. I know there was that trade demand, but in the end, don't you think come week one, those guys are starting and lining up for the 49ers?
I wonder about that. I mean, I know the Niners still have the ability to franchise tag, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know that that'll make for a pleasant situation within the receiver room. But yeah, I mean, I think cooler heads might prevail here. I think Brandon Ayuk knows that, and even Trent Williams for that matter, this Niners team goes down every single year with a holdout, with a hold in, with someone who's not happy with their contract, and it's not because it's just kind of the nature of the business. They've got such top tier talent at every position that these good teams are going to have those problems. We're only into the second week of camp, so I don't think anyone's too terribly concerned. And you look at Nick Bosa last year going into the season, and that's one position where you looked at those first few games after he ended his holdout and came to an agreement on a very lucrative deal, where he wasn't quite himself that we saw the same Nick Bosa later on in the season. I don't think there's any concern for somebody like Brandon Ayuk to be able to end his hold in, come to an agreement, and then be able to just pick up things like that.
Right.
But I do wonder. I mean, as we saw with Deebo Samuel, he's so crucial to not only the team's success, but having the chemistry with Brock Purdy, and what he meant to this team last year was just incredible. Going through injuries, and makes you forget about even him holding out at a time. So I think something that can get done rather quickly. But you got to hope this Trent Williams thing gets done first, because all of his guaranteed money from his deal. That one also seems like it. I have more faith in something for Trent Williams getting done. I just wonder what implications it has on Brandon Ayuk's future and what he's looking to get from a dollar standpoint, because I think with having to commit so much money to Trent Williams, at least for this season alone, possibly for next season, really tends to possibly hurt Brandon Ayuk and what he's hoping to get if it is truly north of 30 million. I don't know that. I think that could be kind of a bridge too far for him.
This team has expectations of winning that final game, something they haven't been able to do, just losing the Super Bowl a couple times in the last few years. Goals are all there. Ability to do it, I think, is there. What's holding them back in your mind, if anything, from doing that this year?
That's a good question. I don't think there's I think they've kept continuity for the most part. I don't know that some of the things that they've said goodbye to on the defensive side of the ball, I think they have every weapon possible that they need on the offensive end, and they're lucky to have that, and they'll be in the mix in the conversation. Winning the big game, I think, they were so close last year. It's really incredible that they lost that game the way they did in overtime to the Chiefs. It's heartbreaking for them. I don't think that there's really anything they could have done differently. I mean, you run into a buzzsaw like Kansas City, who seemingly has your number, but that one truly is a heartbreaker. It's hard to get back into to go back to a Super Bowl in consecutive years, but this team has shown a knack for being able to get into the in the NFC Championship and be able to compete and contend. So I think it's a seasoned team. I think it's a team that's had their heart broken. They know what it's like to play in these games. I think they're just positioned very, very well. It all kind of I hate to put all the pressure onto the quarterback because it isn't, but I think there's still there's so many question marks that come from fans and media and even people you talk to around the league when it comes to Brock Purdy. And it's weird because he certainly has the track record and the numbers and everything on his side, but he's going to be going into that. We're going to be talking about Brock Purdy the way we're talking about Brandon Ayuk, I think, next season, and everyone's expecting, there to be some ugliness when it comes to the contract. So because of that, because that's looming, I think so much will fall onto the shoulders of Brock Purdy.
All right, we talked Giants, we've talked Niners, want to talk Kings. We have the longest wait for them to get going. You and I were out at Summer League watching them in Vegas.
Boy, that was fun.
It was fun, and I think to me, the biggest disappointment of it, I mean, you're watching to see who else can contribute, what are guys that can be a part of the Kings' future. I mean, Devin Carter had the injury. I would have really liked to see him play, but if we're looking at big picture, Sean, of what the Kings are now compared to what they were at the end of last season, how do you feel about them today, still about 2 months away from the start of the NBA season?
Oh yeah, I mean, you feel great about them, and with the talent upgrade, especially, we're talking mainly about DeMar DeRozan and what he brings to this Kings team, and now you have a true three-headed monster, maybe even four if you can, count in a Keegan Murray that you might have a really high expectations for, someone entering just another year, that you want to see him blossom into this player that everyone thinks that he can be, potentially, being an all-star level conversation in a couple years, but really to see him bust out of his shell, but having the likes of DeMar DeRozan to take the pressure off of somebody like Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox and really be a true scorer, someone you can give the ball to, who can get to the free throw line and actually make free throws, is sorely needed for this team. And they did it without really sacrificing much talent with respect to, Harrison Barnes and Chris Duarte. They're able to land a talent like DeRozan without really having to shake up too much. And I think that's a huge accomplishment for this team. Yeah, it's not Brandon Ingram, it's not Lauri Markkanen, but for a 2-year type of deal, possibly 3, you've really positioned yourself well to give this team the ammo that they need. Certainly you have some questions on the defense and maybe questions about the fit for this team, but I think you got to be over the moon to see the way the West has changed and how competitive it can be, and just the talent in the West alone, to see some of the other teams who've kind of fallen into a little bit of a question mark all of a sudden. You don't know maybe what Memphis looks like next year. The Clippers could be a little bit of a head scratch. The Lakers, did they really add enough? And then here you are with the Kings, who at least have gotten better on paper, certainly have added another weapon in their arsenal, and it's a big weapon in DeMar DeRozan. Even though certainly Father Time is undefeated, and he's going to be 35 when he steps onto the court, I don't think that they're expecting DeMar DeRozan to be anything but DeMar DeRozan that we've all come to know, which is somebody you can give the ball to and go get you a bucket and be a very reliable fourth quarter impact scorer like De'Aaron Fox has shown to be. So you add that and come away from Summer League, I mean, I think you're feeling pretty good. Yeah, Devin Carter, that first round pick, is not going to be available until January, but that's somebody that they're trying to build the future for. He might play a bigger role maybe in the latter part of next season, but I think he's somebody you just kind of put a little stamp on, say, do not open until 2025, 2026 season.
How do you think that, now if we look forward and if he does show up again in Carter after January, let's say we're talking now again in February or March, and what the Kings are hoping to be a push towards the postseason, how do you think they'll split up those minutes in the backcourt, assuming the roster stays the same? And that's Fox, and that's Herter and Monk and DeRozan to some extent at that position, Devin Carter, maybe Keon Ellis, Jordan McLaughlin. I mean, look, it's a good problem to have, but kind of who's in and who's out there. How do you think some of those minutes will go in those backcourt spots?
Yeah, I'm curious to see it myself. I mean, who starts? I know there's a lot of hype around Malik Monk and figuring that, oh, he's back. They're committing a lot of dollars to him. He starts, right? And you talk to Mike Brown, and he's definitely talking to you about how the first thing, and you and I know this, Jason, because we've talked to him so many times, but it's like, no, Malik does what's best for the team. And I would argue that if Kevin Herter is still on your team, that he's probably your starter. And I say that only because of roster balance and putting Kevin Herter in the best mental, confident standpoint. Because, this team, if Kevin Herter's not on your team, all of a sudden you have kind of a lack of perimeter shooting. And if he can somehow bounce back from just an awful season that he experienced last year, maybe DeMar DeRozan makes his role a little bit more defined. I can certainly see it working better, but make no mistake, I think Malik Monk comes off the bench depending upon, if this team remains intact, and as long as Kevin Herter's on the team. I still anticipate him coming off the bench, but I don't necessarily. I think some people thought that Keon Ellis and him taking over for Kevin Herter getting hurt, and seeing him inserted in the starting lineup automatically makes him a starter for next year. I don't see that as well. I think he also comes off the bench. So I think the one that is a little bit of a head scratcher there is Jordan McLaughlin, because there is no Devin Carter for those first few months of the season. And, I think he ends up taking some of those Davion Mitchell minutes that we kind of saw later last year. And if he can, he's a guy that they've got some faith in based on what he was able to do with Minnesota. He doesn't turn the ball over. he just didn't really have much of an impact in terms of, obviously not the biggest guy in the world. He's only 6 foot, but they have a confidence to him, and he does too. And he's shown an ability to improve his 3-point shooting. So being a two-way scrappy player that this team wants to have a ton of guys just like him, just maybe with a little bit more size, is exactly what they're trying to build this roster for. So to me, I think McLaughlin has a fit on this team. I just don't know if Mike Brown goes that deep every single game. I think it's going to be a little bit of matchups, and maybe it's an 8, 9, 10-man rotation at most. But it'll be fun. I think those first few months of the season, really, and I'm talking about those first 25 games or so, could be some tinkering, and Mike Brown likes to tinker.
Yeah, he does. And you brought up that's the one area as the season begins, I feel like they're a little bit small. That's not new to this team. They play small in general. One, I guess, do you think they address that over time? Or two, do you think that'll end up hurting them if they kind of go with this roster and maybe I would say an overall lack of size?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, to me, I was pessimistic about being able to add the necessary size, because it's not just going out there and finding a 7-footer or a guy who's 6'10". It's going out there and find a guy who can contribute on both ends of the court, and especially on the offensive end, to not be able to totally disrupt the flow of the offense just to add somebody who might be a rim protector or a physical athletic body that, might draw the attention of the officials with a lot of fouls. You want to have this fluidity to your offense that doesn't have, you have a guy who comes in that might be really, really good on one end of the floor and primarily defense, but doesn't disrupt with the chemistry that goes on the offensive end, and still be able to stretch the floor. I mean, these guys don't grow on trees. So yeah, that's why the likes of, so many of these shows will talk, you got, you have fans that come in and say, oh, what about Aaron Gordon? What do you about?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, those are like the perfect fit for somebody like Sacramento. But again, how do you find that? And then how do you go about attracting that player, because that player is so obviously valued for what they do on their team currently. So it'll be interesting. I think it's going to be something that really they're going to miss, and they're going to have to find ways to win. And they're going to have to hope that a lot goes right here in the early going. But fortunately, you've got guys that can close out and win games, and guys like Fox and DeRozan, just still adding that while you're trying to, this thing's never a finished product. If you're going out there trying to use the trade deadline as your next kind of deadline for yourself to be able to add to this roster, those first 25 games will certainly give you a nice sample size of what your team's able to do.
Well, Sean Cunningham joining us, covering all things from the Niners to the Kings to the Giants. We started with SNL.
Yeah, we did.
I said, Sean, it's for me, it's a joy to sit between you and Chris, at a funny movie. You guys are the 1 seeds in brackets of best laughs. What if between the three of us, we all watch Saturday Night Live every time? Why wouldn't we just take a road trip and go to watch SNL, the three of us, in person?
Oh, do not tease me with a good time, sir.
Because then we have to go to New York. Oh,
come on.
No, I'm down. Let's make this happen. I'm sure.
How great would that be?
Between the three of us, I think we have enough pull to where we should be able to secure the necessary means to be able to get to New York and have not just standby passes, but guarantee stamp into the Rockefeller and be able to go and check out SNL. I'm down. That's kind of like a bucket list thing for me. I definitely want to.
Me too. Here's the question though, guys. So how some skits in SNL, and I think this is the case, maybe there are other people that we don't know of behind the scenes that are involved, but sometimes they'll have if it's like a question from the audience, and they're obviously using cast members or celebrities, but then there's other people in the background. Is there any chance that we could be in those cameos but hold the straight face?
No chance. No.
I could. I don't know that you guys. I don't know. I think Sean would crack first.
I would keep a straight face and look directly at the camera.
What if Will Forte, though, was a cameo and he was saying something funny?
Oh, well, then I wouldn't be able to help myself.
Exactly.
That would be the thing. You go there, you have to hope that you have an incredible, musical guest and host. Can you imagine you get there, and I don't know, for me, it would be all that. I mean, they could put literally anybody up there and I'd be thrilled, but Chris right out of the gate would be like, no, not funny. I don't like this guy.
We got a terrible guest host.
It would be great if after the show we're told to go meet Lorne Michaels, and he says, you two gentlemen's laugh has been so good for the show. We need you to be here every episode.
Good. That's a good impression.
Is that your Lorne Michaels?
I liked it.
Good.
thought it was pretty good.
See, maybe when the Kings hopefully they're like in New York, like on a Friday or a Sunday, we can go out there, cover the game, and then go to SNL on Saturday.
You guys are both invited to my MacGruber showing.
Oh, that's
in
right.
September.
In September. Sean, you in?
So this is real?
Yes.
I got the invite, and I thought he was just being funny.
No, it's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
Yeah. Got the deposit in and everything.
Would that set you back? It's your party. How did you have to pay for it?
Because who else is going to pay for it?
Your friends that are going and family members.
Oh, we'll see.
Okay.
I'll put a donation bucket at the door.
Yeah, exactly. Tips.
I'll see what I can do. That sounds too good to pass up.
That's right. Well, Sean, thank you. We appreciate you checking in with us. Keep up your great work, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
All right. Thank you. That's Sean Cunningham from Fox 40. Used to be here at then Sports 1140. Long time local legend, honestly. I mean, Sean's connections are just top notch. We always appreciate getting his insight on everything we cover there, from the Niners to the Kings to the Giants. We'd love your reaction, your thoughts to that when we come back. Still to come in this hour. Who's hot and who's not? We'll go streaking. But up next, what to expect today. The next round of action is underway with day 5 at the Olympics. What to keep your eye on, including LeBron and company back on court. And Steve Kerr said Jason Tatum will play today. Who will that cost minutes from? We'll discuss that and more straight ahead on Sacktown Sports.
De'Aaron Fox plays here.
Stolen by Fox. Breakaway coming up for De'Aaron. And a simple, casual spike with the left hand. Kings lead by 3.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Hi, welcome to Staples.
Yeah, my daughter needs a laptop for college, but I need to watch the budget.
Well, Staples hot deals on tech are backed by a price match guarantee, so our prices won't be beat.
Great. For plays, and that also goes. My baby's starting college.
She'll do great.
I know.
Oh,
this is really a marathon.
Great deal on a laptop.
Save big on tech for school at Staples. Now get up to $300 off select PCs. NC24 price match guarantee valid within 14 days of purchase. Exclusions apply. For details, visit staples.com/price match.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Styles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
101 years ago, the owners of the Field & Flint Company gave its workforce the opportunity to name an exciting new shoe that was different from anything being manufactured then. The company would reward the person who came up with the best name, a generous $50 reward. A factory seamstress suggested the name FootJoy, and the first FootJoy was launched with the tagline, "The shoe that's different." And that line today definitely describes the new FootJoy Tour Alpha golf shoe. The newly designed stabilizer, the most advanced FootJoy ever created, works to lock you in, allowing you to swing away with full force. And we all know that normally translates to more distance. Available in 3 color combinations, the FootJoy Tour Alpha offers performance leather, superior fit, complete support, and a 2-year waterproof guarantee. I suppose the only question left is, what do you think that seamstress did with her $50 prize? That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Celebrate Sacramento Rivercats baseball during our 25th anniversary season. Pick your favorite weekly promotion, giveaway game, or theme night, and join the fun at Sutter Health Park. Stick around post-game every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with the brightest fireworks in town. For a full promotion schedule and to buy tickets, visit rivercats.com. We'll see you there.
Carmichael Dave.
He has very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ross.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say.
He's good at what he does.
On Sacktown Sports.
Well, I love when our audience understands us. The text line saying, Sean loves Rihanna, which is very true. Imagine Rihanna doing a media tour, does SNL, and you guys do that episode. Well, we'd
with Will Forte hosting.
Or Will Ferrell. You'd accept Will Ferrell. I'd be fine. I'd be fine with that. You guys can both be happy about the selections. I'd be fine with Rihanna. I'd be more than fine with Will Forte. I like him. That would be star-studded. I will say this, and I guess as we all age and get older, things they try to skew a little bit younger, which is nothing wrong with that. I like that. It's happened more and more in the last couple of years where they'll be the musical guests. And I go, ooh, I don't know who that is. And sometimes it's just like, okay, I just hadn't heard of them, or they're just like, wow, they never heard of them again after that. But it's happening a little bit more where I'm not sure who the SNL host is anymore. That used to never happen. So it's happened a little more, but we shall see. Again, thanks to Sean Cunningham for joining us, kind of getting us caught up on all things Giants, Kings, 49ers. That was good conversation with Sean. Today, the Olympics are continuing. It's day 5. And right now in studio, what do we got here? We got women's 3-on-3 going on, and we got women's volleyball, indoor volleyball. So fan of both of those. Earlier today, had equestrian on. That one hasn't captured my attention as much. We've discussed, if you've listened at all this week without Dave, Chris and I are quickly becoming rugby fans. We've yet to see, I don't think breakdancing has started. I've been waiting to see just what that looks like, and I'm going to check it out, but maybe it's a 5-minute watch, or will it be, man, I got to watch this all the time. Earlier this morning, the triathlon finally got started after some river concerns with the water and the safety level. But yeah, that has happened so far today. Also, men's basketball was going on earlier. Serbia was playing. The other thing to watch today, Team USA men's basketball will be on the court. And we'll see how LeBron, KD, Steph, that whole group, and Steve Kerr saying the other day, look, he didn't play Halliburton, he didn't play Tatum. He quickly said Tatum will play. Didn't say that about Halliburton, but I think he also said it's really tough to play more than 10. So if Tatum is in, that'll come at the expense of someone as they play South Sudan today.
It appears breaking starts on August 9th.
Oh, wow. That's near the end of the Olympics. Maybe it's a short one-day thing,
yeah,
2-day thing.
No, yeah, it's 2 days. August 9th is the pre-qualifiers, and then the finals for the women are on the 9th, and the finals for the men is on the 10th.
Okay. When's closing ceremonies? Isn't it like right after that?
I think so.
Yeah, because let's see. The 11th is a Sunday. I think that's the closing ceremony. So, okay. Well, breaking is on the 9th and 10th.
So the 9th is a Friday. The 10th is a Saturday. Sunday is the closing ceremony.
Okay. So it's right at the end of the Olympics. All right. That's fine. By the way, also, I got to double check this because I thought I heard this the other day when I was watching women's volleyball. Let me double check this because this would relate to us here in Sacramento. Let me see really fast here because I'm watching them play. I believe they said, here we go. Let me find a little notes here. Yeah, okay, that was right. So Avery Skinner, who is on the women's volleyball team, is a really good player. 1, 2, they were talking about her father, and they said her father had a long NBA career, Brian Skinner. I'm like, hey, he was a King. Yeah, about a 14, 15-year career. So that's cool. She's playing right now, so is Team USA. They are up 1-0 on Serbia. Other things to watch today in the Olympics, men's gymnastics. They go for the some of the individual honors there. They've already had the team bronze. The women had the team gold yesterday, and they still have the individual routines where they try to medal in that. And speaking of medals, let's get the latest medal count for the Olympics up to date. And let's see where we are here as far as the very latest updates on the Olympic medals. I don't know that anything has happened officially yet today, but Team USA was still leading overall, not ahead in the golds yet. And I don't know that they will get there. Hopefully they will. But right now, USA in the medal count is at 27. Second most is France with 21. So the home country doing quite well. 17 for Great Britain, 16 for Republic of China. That's the overall leaders in overall medals. Republic of China, though, leads with 8 gold medals. Japan is second with 7. France, Great Britain, and Australia with 6. Republic of Korea, 5. U.S. at this point has 4 gold medals. So 4 golds, 12 silver, 11 bronze. And, USA still has some events that they are predicted to win the gold medal in. Simone Biles is predicted to win a couple more in gymnastics. It's a little different. What was the one Olympics where Michael Phelps won 8 golds? I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Is that China?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a little bit unfair, Chris. I don't know where you fall in line in that. We were talking last night. I had some friends over talking about the top 100 list, I guess, that came out. I don't know who it had, ESPN or SI or somebody had.
I think it's ESPN. I think the Styles and Watkins were talking about it.
Yeah, so it wasn't at the top 100 of this century.
Yes.
And they picked Phelps number 1. Again, I mean, Brady, LeBron, Simone, Serena, felt like Tiger. That to me is kind of the group. And then it's like, who are you picking? Djokovic? Like, I don't know. You can argue for all of them.
The only thing I don't like about like the medal counts of swimming is just because there's so many.
It's unfair
events to have.
Yeah.
It would be like 100-meter dash. Then like, what if there's a 100-meter skip and then 100-meter
or if you did 100,
100,
200, 400 relay, long jump. Like Carl Lewis did like 3 or 4 of those things, and so he won 4. Again, other people have the opportunity to do it and didn't do it. He did. But Phelps, like to win 8, I think, what do they say? Durant's about to become, if they win gold, the most gold medals ever by anybody that's been on a team sport. Like he'll, I think, get his 4th. But is his 4 less valuable than Phelps's 26 because he can only win 4?
Yeah.
Like if.
Oh, it would be interesting to put like more basketball categories. Like, what could you do like that? Like, if there's a
top scorer,
3-point contest or the
dunk contest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't want to. I'm not saying Phelps or Ledecky or Simone Biles, who have the chance at more golds, are any less. That's not the point. But talk about difficulty in measuring. How would you compare Phelps to Djokovic, Brady to Tiger Woods? I mean, they're all great, right?
Now that I'm thinking, Sergio Aguero should have been on that, but now that I'm
Messi
thinking
was
about
up
it,
there, top 3, I think 3 or 4.
Now that I'm thinking about it, if there's a 3-point contest, for the Olympics, would it be NBA players or would it be like randoms?
No, shouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be NBA players?
What if someone's like an amazing 3-point shooter?
Well, if they can prove it and qualify,
they're like a 5'3"
yeah.
astronaut from Canada.
Yeah, aren't there things like the world record holder for like made free throws is someone that just has like the most robotic form?
Yeah,
that they can make like 400 in a row. You're like, what?
Like now that I think about it, I think that could make some intrigue in the 3-point contest in the NBA if you could have like the greatest non
NBA
qualifier, and then have them
and all
match
of a sudden
up
they're against Steph.
So you would have like the final would be like a quote like civilian versus an NBA player.
Would the egos of an NBA player want that? Part of them would go like, I'll smoke this person, but what if you don't?
I think that's what makes it interesting
for us.
Do you think like their egos would be that fragile that if they lost to a non-NBA player, like they wouldn't?
Maybe not in just a stance. I mean, that's a shooting competition and they're not playing on the court. Like if you lost to a non-NBA person, like in a dunk contest, that might be harder.
Yeah.
To take than a shooting. Someone just mastered. I mean, there's plenty of people that would do well at that. Now, I mean, other NBA players should be favored, but that'd be fun. Put a gold medal on it.
I think I need to talk to Adam Silver.
Yeah. 2028 in LA. Let's make it happen. Into it, dumb. The civilian in the 3. I like how you put the civilian.
Well, I was going to say normal person, but that didn't seem right.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, again, the medal count, like we said, for Team USA doing just fine in overall medals, lower as far as golds, but lots of Olympics still to go. As far as today goes, we said check out men's gymnastics, swimming, men's basketball. I think they play during Styles and Watkins, so I know they'll have an update on how that goes a little bit later today. Speaking of Styles and Watkins, they're going to join us about 1 hour from now. We'll quiz them on today's celebrity birthdays, get some crosstalk with them as well. When we return, we ask the question of who's hot, who is not, and we'll go streaking. Let's see how we did yesterday. We'll have all that and more straight ahead on Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And here's Purdy going to throw one deep, wide for Debo. Made the catch on the back shoulder. Touchdown! San Francisco!
And a back shoulder banger for Debo Samuel.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
Or being a dog person and a cat person.
Who wants a treat? Who's your good boy?
Or like being an extrovert and an introvert.
This is so fun! I can't wait to go home!
At T-Mobile, you don't have to choose. You can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how much you can save with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, we'll pay off your locked AT&T phone up to $650, and you'll get a new 5G phone for free.
Pay off via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Free phone up to $830 via 24 monthly bill credits with qualifying plan and credit, plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling to continue bill credits, or they stop and required finance agreement balance is due. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See T-Mobile.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message data rates may apply.
Taking Nugenix Total T makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas, right? Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yes.
Text radio to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley's coming to town.
What was I thinking? I'm getting drunk on the
Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Harmony. Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by The Scoundrel Red Wine, Naturewood Home Furnishings, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot. And what's not?
It's not good.
Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
We just don't know. All right. Let's find out, though, who is hot and who is not. Chris, who's hot?
The San Diego Padres.
Yeah?
Padres were down 5-3 going into the bottom of the ninth yesterday. And in the ninth, Manny Machado and Jackson Merrill both hit a home run to tie the game. And in the 10th, Donovan Solano hit a bases-loaded single to win the game.
Nice. Quite a comeback. They had a busy trade deadline added to the bullpen. Way to go, Padres. Is the San Diego Chicken still around?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. It was a good mascot. The Chicken. Roaming around San Diego.
Pete Rose dressed up as the San Diego Chicken to try and to try and trick Kane in WWE.
Wait, what year was this?
Ooh, it had to be late 90s, 99, 2000. There was a thing for a while, like almost for like a 3 or 4 year stretch at WrestleMania, Kane would pile drive, would Tombstone pile drive Pete Rose.
Regularly?
Regularly, like as expected.
Why was Pete into that? Was he just trying to get his name out there?
Yeah, like the first time, I think is WrestleMania 14, and they were in Boston, and for some reason he was out there, and he came and he's just like, oh yeah, when I was in the league, there's nothing I like better than coming into Boston and beating the Red Sox. They still haven't won a World Series and just going off. Then Kane comes in and gives him a pile driver.
I don't know what to think about Pete Rose.
I just started watching his documentary.
Oh, I did hear that's really good. Is it so far? What's that on?
It's on Max.
Okay.
So I think I don't know how many episodes it is, but I saw the first one, and I appreciate what they're doing is when he'll say something, because people will say like, you don't know what the truth is with Pete Rose.
So is it more from his lens or what?
It's so he'll give like an explanation to something, but then there'll be like a cross reference and it'll be something like yeah, that never happened. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
But then like, because he lies all the time, you don't even know what the truth is, because there's like there's this one woman that said like, yeah, Pete said that someone in his family had a monkey and the monkey's name was Pete. And it's just like,
what are you even lying about that for?
I don't even know. And then like, but it was true. Like his grandma had a monkey named Pete.
Okay. Because that would be a weird thing to lie about.
Yeah.
Like that's, generally people lie to help their cause. That's like
a lot of the thing I don't think Pete gets is just like, it's so unfair how I'm being treated. And it's like, well, you're the one that did this.
Yeah.
And you're the one that lied about betting on baseball for years. And you didn't start telling the truth until you had a book to write.
Yeah. I think it's how he handled it. I think you're right. I mean, to me, look, I don't know if he would be he's a Hall of Famer. He is. Now he's not in. I think other people are Hall of Famers. I'm not of the camp of, I don't believe in the steroid era. If you cheated, you should be out. I don't believe it. But I don't have a vote. Other people do, and not everybody agrees with that. So
the thing I don't like about that whole thing is they're also denying votes on people they
think may have.
They think have.
Yeah.
But then
and there are people that are in that did. Like it's not fair.
There are people that have been voted into the Baseball Hall of Fame recently who I could say like, I don't have any proof, I don't have any facts, but I guarantee that person did steroids.
Yeah.
But for some reason they're in.
Yeah, they made it through. The managers who are putting these guys in on a regular basis, we don't even look at this. Like, they're in. Like, they won. They had nothing to do with it. No, I just don't think we're measuring it the same way. And for us to be the judge and jury on that when it wasn't illegal at times, I would say now if you're going forward, like, who's the most prominent? Like, A-Rod got caught, literally caught, suspended during the time he played. If you want to then draw the line there and go, look, there were baseball rules, you then broke them, you cannot be a Hall of Famer. Okay, I feel like that's a better argument than, well, we think we don't have 100% proof, or they're in a report. Yeah, I know they hit 9,000 home runs, but I'm sure they were on something. Or even to the case of McGuire, he was and admitted that he did, and yet that wasn't illegal at the time.
And like, it's a completely gray area too, because it wasn't illegal in baseball, and in some of the cases it wasn't illegal in the United States.
Right.
So it's like, what are we talking about here?
Right. And to not think that any pitcher could have had some assistance, and then it's like, what are we deeming as performance enhancing? And if you want to be as, I mean, if it, to me, it's not black and white. There is some nuance, but I think they're trying to make it black and white. And then it's like, well, wait, why does someone have some other thing that does benefit them to perform? And it may not be deemed illegal. It's like, well, yeah, exactly. That's, what are we doing here? You're trying to say if anybody did this, they're out. It's like, all right.
Well, then you talk about players 60s, 70s, 50s, like amphetamines were regular. They were in the dugout. Like,
yeah, the only reason they did that was because they thought it would help them.
Yeah.
So that's like, whether it did or not. And some people are like, oh, the steroids don't help them, or that's what didn't make them hit a home run. I don't know. I think I'm going to go off of the athletes. I believe a lot of them did that for recovery, to help recover from injury or pain or constant stuff. Obviously, they felt it helped them in some way, shape, or form. But, I mean, to deny someone like the greatest baseball player of Pete Rose, greatest hitter, as far as most hits, Bonds, most home runs, it's weird that sport doesn't have their home run hitter or hit leader in the Hall of Fame. It's just weird. All that to say, who's hot somehow? How about who's not?
The Chicago White Sox.
That's unfair.
How is it unfair?
I don't even know how you're saying they're not hot. What have they done?
Well, they lost last night to the Royals 4-3.
Okay.
For their 16th loss in a row. In fact, it has been so long since the White Sox have won. Joe Biden was running for president the last time the White Sox won.
Oh, my goodness.
That seems like 4 years ago.
It does seem like a long time ago now. Poor White Sox. 16 in a row. I had the question the other day, will they have a 20-game losing streak when they get ready to play the A's? Well, they've lost 2 games already. They've got a third one against the Royals and then another tough series, I think Minnesota after that. It could be a 20. Maybe they'll make a money ball on them after the A's had their 20-game win streak for their positive one of Moneyball. Okay, so that's who's hot and who's not. That leaves us with our game of the day. Let's go streaking.
It's time to go streaking.
We're going streaking!
Who is the Nostradamus of MLB? Who can keep the streak going? It's time to go streaking.
What the hell are you doing? We're streaking.
All right, the show streak doesn't sound as impressive as it did a few days ago. Chris is at 1. Carmichael Dave is at 1. I'm at 0. Got to get cooking here. So Carmichael Dave, with a streak of 1, selected Boba via text line, sent that down the line yesterday. And I looked up Boba. He did not play yesterday. I went, Boba didn't play. Then I looked it up. Boba has a calf strain. He's been out for like 2 weeks.
Oh, huh.
I did not know. So Dave stays at 1. We'll see if he will submit a text entry to Chris. What are we, about 9 hours difference?
8 hours.
8 hours. I know he's awake, but he has not chimed in yet on his.
I haven't seen anything on his social media today.
What?
Is he okay?
Is he okay? Chris and I both were taking a player from the same team. We did not take the same player, but we went to the New York Yankees. Chris was at 1, and you took Alex Verdugo, the leadoff hitter for the Yankees, former Red Sox. 4 plate appearances, 1 hit. Chris is at 2. I was at 0. I could pick from anybody in all of baseball, but I went to my Yankees. And I went with Jazz Hands, Jazz Chisholm. 6 plate appearances, 2 runs scored, 3 hits, 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. That's a hit. So I'm at 1. Dave at 1. I'm at 1. Chris, you are at 2. You're the show leader. Who is your pick today for streaking?
I'm going to go with a guy that every single time I picked him has gotten a hit.
Ooh, not a jinx.
Jackson Holliday.
You're doing it. We don't even know if he's going to play, if he's in the lineup. I love it. You might get 1 plate appearance, but it's worth it if you get a hit because I want to hear the drop tomorrow. Blue Jays at Orioles. It's early today, too. We're going to know in about an hour or so if he's in the lineup. Good job, Chris. Jackson Holliday. I thought about him, but I'm glad you took him. It's good. I am taking from, what was my pick? I blanked on my team. Where did he go? Oh, yes. I was going to take from the Los Angeles Dodgers. I've heard of this guy. He's pretty good. Shohei Ohtani.
You can't remember that?
I couldn't remember. Because actually I was on the Orioles before, and when I clicked to that game, it was Jackson Holliday is who I was looking at. But yeah, I did want Shohei Ohtani. So there we go. You've got Jackson Holliday. I have Shohei Ohtani. We will see if we can keep our small streaks going. Final hour of the show coming up for today. We will look at what to watch in this day in sports history. We've got crosstalk with Styles and Watkins and celebrity birthdays all coming up in this final hour. But when we return, it's 9 o'clock. That means Niners at 9, and that roster is good. We'll tell you how good according to the top 100 at NFL.com, where some of the Niners land on that list. We'll do that when we come back.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
If you've been on the American River, it's uphill, it's downhill. There's trails everywhere that you can walk, and it just makes you happy. And I couldn't walk, and it was terrible. I was turning into a real crab. I went to the Good Feet store, and I tried on the arch supports. I could not believe that I was not in pain. I can walk, I can run, I can jump, I can do anything. My name's Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom,
with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
I hope Dave is okay.
Still nothing?
How many times do you think he's tweeted today?
Well, based on your response, I'm going to say none.
And it's never none.
Oh.
He's tweeted twice today.
Okay, let's do that exercise, Chris, just because. He has 2 tweets today. That right?
Correct.
How many yesterday? Is it worth counting, or can you see?
I can see them. It's going to take it. I'm guessing he had like 20 yesterday.
So my exercise in this is we're going to get to Niners and 9 in just a moment. Jason Ross, Chris Villa, Carmichael Dave on vacation. If you get the number confirmed, let me know, because what I like to do is show his proficiency in tweets versus my lack of social media interact. I look at social media all the time. All the time. I don't participate as far as a poster much. I don't think. Maybe some others are like, yeah, you should stop posting. It's not very interesting. So when you have that number, and I can tell you're still counting, so let me know, and I will go back that same amount and see from his 2 tweets today to yesterday's total, see where that will take me.
Okay,
to.
got it.
All right. What's his number yesterday?
Take a guess.
You counted for a while.
And I believe my prediction was 20.
I'm going to go a little higher, 25.
18.
Okay. So now we're at 20. 20 total
Yes.
tweets from the 2 today, 18 yesterday. So I would like you to go back 20 tweets and me to go
And
back.
I did replies too, so you have to count posts and replies.
Oh. That might change things, but we'll see. Maybe not. Okay, so 20 tweets back and replies, we're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Hang on a second. Okay. All right, almost there. Okay. I am there. It's 20 tweets ago for me. Which was a tweet. Actually, this is funny that this is the one I landed on. Tweets or replies.
It's funny what mine landed on.
All right. So what date is your 20 tweets ago? Keep in mind today is what, July 31st today?
July 25th.
Okay. I thought mine would be worse, but counting replies, it's a little better. I'm July 7th.
Okay.
Okay. And then you care to read is your tweet safe for work?
Yes.
Okay.
It is me quote tweeting Dave's tweet.
Huh.
It was when he was in Austria driving around. I think he was like singing with the family or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And my tweet was, "That's not you. That's the opening credits of Midsummer."
Okay. And did that get some good interaction?
No.
The one I did, I actually posted and just, I don't know, came to my head, threw it out there. Why I did, I don't know. But a couple of people actually literally responded, said this tweet should do better than it will, or something like that. And I was like, oh, I don't care about that. But my tweet 20 tweets ago on July 7th was, DeRozan means king in Sacramento.
Funny.
Yeah, just threw that out there. So there you go. July 7th. Dave's 20 tweets ago was yesterday. So hopefully he's okay. He's not responded to you. He's not tweeted much today. I believe he will be. And then there'll just be a surge of tweets coming soon. All right, so Niners at 9 time. Let's keep you up to date on what's going on with San Francisco. Training camp continues to go on. We get closer to the start of the NFL season, and things like this come aboard and around at this time of year as far as player evaluation. I like these things. They're always up for debate, right, wrong, indifferent opinion on these things, whether those that make these lists have them correct. But every year, NFL.com comes up with voted by the players themselves, which is why I think it's important. The top 100 players. Now, we're not all the way through, but up to date, I think we are to the top 20. And looking over that list, I think there's some intrigue as to who lands where and why and where they were on the list before. It makes it interesting. So up through the top 80 players, 100 to 21, the Niners have some connections, as you would expect. And we'll give you those names and what numbers they're at right now. Hang on, let me make a few more notes here and see where people are. Okay, so some have drastically changed. Some have stayed about where they were, so on and so forth. So they've done, like I said, 100 through 20, the top 20 still to be revealed in the coming days. I know the top 10. Actually, the 20 through 11 will be announced today. And then Friday, August 2nd, live, the NFL Network will have a show of the top 10. So there's a couple Niners that aren't there yet that we know will be in the top 20. And I'm speaking of, I believe, George Kittle. I believe Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams. But in the top 100 so far, according to players who have voted on this list, Dre Greenlaw is up 3 spots to number 76. He's been a really good 49er. Good energy to him, good intensity. Also Fred Warner. I haven't mentioned Fred Warner yet. He'll be in the top 20. So the Niners are going to be littered with players in the top 20. At number 66, who was not anywhere in the top 100 a year ago, the hold-in guy, Brandon Ayuk. He is at 66 according to players that voted on this list. Let me see what the write-up is. After his best season, Ayuk appears in the top 100 for the first time. He led the talented 49ers offense with over 1,300 receiving yards, which was good for 7th in the NFL. He also ranks 2nd amongst his peers with 17.9 yards per reception. And, of course, he's asked for the contract extension. His future in the Bay Area is uncertain, though. I think at this point, he's going to remain a San Francisco 49er. So there you go. There's the first 2 on the list. Dre Greenlaw up 3 spots to 76. Brandon Ayuk was not in the top 100. He is currently at 66. So then we go to the top 40 now. move up the list, and we find our next San Francisco 49er, and he is at number, wait, I just misplaced my number. I apologize here. Deebo Samuel is in the top list. He is at 30. Deebo is up 31 spots, according to his peers. He does it all for the 49ers. He fought through his list of injuries in 2023 to put his dynamic skill set to work in 15 games, 60 receptions, 892 yards, were his second-best results through 5 seasons. Also achieved a new career high with 7 touchdown receptions. Topped that off with another 5 scores and 225 on the ground, good for 6.1 yards per carry. So, in the top 100, Greenlaw 76, Ayuk at 66, Deebo at 33. 2 spots ahead of Deebo Samuel at number 28, a guy who was not on the list the year before, Brock Purdy. This is by his peers. This isn't media slant. This isn't anything else. It turns out 2022 was no fluke. Purdy has firmly entrenched himself in San Francisco's future 2 years after he was drafted as Mr. Irrelevant. The 24-year-old signal caller threw for 4,280 yards, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions last year, while leading the NFL in TD percentage, yards per attempt, passer rating, and QBR. More importantly, he's yet to fall short of the NFC Championship game and was some Patrick Mahomes magic away from capturing the Lombardi Trophy in February. All that is true. All that is true. And 1 spot ahead of Brock Purdy at number 27, down 23 spots, is Nick Bosa. The write-up on Bosa, he didn't reach the heights of the Defensive Player of the Year campaign the season prior, but Bosa was still a pivotal part of the Niners defense in 2023 as one of the league's most dangerous pass rushers. He led the Niners attack with 10.5 sacks, moved his career total to 53.5, while logging a 3rd straight season with both double-digit sacks and a Pro Bowl nod by year's end. So Fred Warner, Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey all should land in the top 20. Others that are in the top 20 right now, A.J. Brown at 21, Penei Sewell from the Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Dexter Lawrence, Jalen Ramsey, Mike Evans, Nick Bosa, we mentioned Purdy, Khalil Mack, and Deebo Samuel. The Brock Purdy one is interesting to me because if you go on the quarterback list, Joe Burrow's at 39, so Tua's at 36, Jordan Love at 34. So he's ahead of them. How about a shout out to local guy, Deron Bland, who spent a couple years at Sac State, then went to Fresno State. Great year last year with the Dallas Cowboys. He is at 31. Some other QBs that Brock Purdy, according to his peers, is ahead of. Jared Goff, they've listed at 48. Matthew Stafford, he is currently on the list at 42. Outside the top 50, there was a few more quarterbacks in that list. I mean, quarterbacks are going to get a little more love and a little bit of attention, which I get that. I mean, that's understandable. It's such a high-profile position and easy to think of those names when you're ranking these guys. But you got Purdy that high in the list. No one else in the quarterback range is at the top 80. Let's see as I continue to scan through here to figure out who else. Justin Herbert, who's kind of been a darling of the league before, he is listed at 75, 90 to 81 range. QB-wise, I don't think I remember seeing anyone there. Yeah, there's no DK Metcalfs in there. Kirk Cousins is at 81. So Brock Purdy and ahead of a couple of their highly profiled quarterback names out there. So impressive what his peers think of him. Trevor Lawrence coming in at 94 and Aaron Rodgers at 92. Now, again, I talk about a position that's the most fluid and changes rapidly. That number will look, I would say, considerably different next year. But good for Purdy to go from nowhere to 28, Deebo at 30, Bosa at 27. We mentioned Ayuk 66 and Dre Greenlaw at 76. So once we get those other numbers, we'll update you on what I believe Warner, Williams, and McCaffrey end up in that top 20. That leads you to think the Niners should have a good year, much like they did the last couple of years. And nothing should be different barring everyone stays healthy. All right, we'll come back. We've got more to get to on the show. We'll reset some of our top stories, keep you up to date on what's going on currently as we speak in the Olympics, that and much more as we continue on Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught! by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
Right back here on the show. Jason Ross, Christopher Log, Carmichael Dave on vacation. I'll be back in full force in August and ready to roll, get you ready for the start of the NFL season, to really deep dive into some of our NFL coverage. And we look forward to that. Of course, the Kings around the corner, baseball postseason, all that in the months to come, which we really look forward to. Thank you to all of you checking in. Certainly you can hit us up on the text line at 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Phone lines, YouTube chat, we can check in there as well. Okay, let's see. Danny in Chula Vista, regular. J. Ross living in Chula Vista. The San Diego Chicken is no longer around. Sad, sad, sad. Best thing that happened to this city. I'd like the San Diego Chicken. Where's the chicken? Where'd the chicken go? Looking for the chicken. Today, some of our stories that we've been talking about today to reset. If you had missed any part of the show, again, you can go back and check in. Had a really good conversation with Sean Cunningham from Fox 40, kind of bouncing around all sorts of sports topics there between the Giants, certainly the 49ers, and the Kings. So that was a good listen. If you want to go back, had that earlier today at 8 o'clock. I
have an update on the San Diego Chicken.
Oh, really? What do we got?
This
is where's this from?
June 1st, 2023, the New York Times. He is recovering from a hip replacement that will sideline him until at least 2024.
So we have an injury to the chicken?
Yeah.
Was surgery successful?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. So the chicken
Unless the doctor walked away with a chicken leg.
So the chicken was working in 2023. Is now gone, or was it around?
Looks like it's around.
Okay. I like the San Diego Chicken. I grew up. What was that show that it was on? Baseball Bunch. That was probably before your time. Did you ever see the Baseball Bunch?
Never even heard of it.
Okay. Johnny Bench hosted it. I think he was done playing. I think.
Oh, Johnny Bench is fantastic in the
Pete
Rose thing.
In what way?
Like, he is not a
Was
fan
not a
of
fan?
Pete Rose.
So that makes him good because does he call him out, or was he just like rip
And
him?
now that I'm trying to remember, I don't know if this is them like talking one-on-one with the thing with the I don't believe he talks one-on-one with the makers of the documentary.
So it's other video from
Yeah, they show one. This is like, obviously they've both been retired for a while, and he's being asked about Pete Rose, and he is big like, you know what, Pete Rose did this to Pete Rose. Nobody else did this to him. He knew the rules. Like,
So he
he's not
doesn't
in
feel for him.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. and that makes him good to you because you're getting the true essence of the character of Pete Rose. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be a fluff piece, but unless he's been portrayed wrongly, and I don't feel like that's been the case for Pete Rose.
Just based on he is a fan of gambling.
Yes, he is, and that's okay. But in this case, it hasn't been okay, and it's been his problem.
Not okay because that's what.
Well, if he still has an issue with it, and he's still trying to get in the Hall of Fame, it's like, well, that's what's kept you out. That has, and his inability to, I wouldn't say see that, but
I wonder if baseball would go to Pete Rose and say, "We will let you in the Hall of Fame, but you can never bet on any sort of sporting event, game, horse racing, any of that."
Based on that, you don't think he would do that, huh?
No.
Yeah. But I will say this. I don't know if this will happen, but if he ever becomes a Hall of Famer, I think it's weak if they do it if he had passed away.
Yeah.
That's terrible. You may not like the guy. He's either in or he's out. And at this point, he's out. And if he stays that way, again, I don't particularly agree with it, but I'm not the decision maker here. I can see the point. But if you put him in after, that's pretty bad to me. So some other things today, as far as some of the stories, I should say, what we've been following, of course, the Olympics and the Olympic coverage continues going on. I'm still watching women's volleyball. They're up 2-0 on Serbia. They are losing, though, the third set right now, third game. And we'll see if they end up losing the third set before that overall match wraps up. Also, today, men's basketball will be on the floor. I know I saw Nikola Jokic playing earlier. Let me see if I can double check that final score. Yes, Serbia, they're not, it's not over. They lead Puerto Rico right now 52-35. Nikola Jokic, 10 points, 10 boards, 4 assists. How's Bogey doing? He's got 9 points. So they're 0-1. They need this in pool play to get a victory. They're in Group C against Puerto Rico, who's also 0-1. And about noon is when South Sudan and Team USA will get started. So that'll be during Styles and Watkins. I know they'll have updates on that, but I'm anxious to see the minute distribution and see if Steve Kerr changes anything. They've gotten off to slow starts, even in some of their exhibitions, certainly in game one before they routed in their performance. But Joel Embiid has not been great. And so it feels like they could be better off going with Bam or Anthony Davis. I say playing smaller, but because they're still plenty big, but they're so good defensively and not a liability offensively. The team has been better in the plus-minus without Embiid. So that's something to watch. And then the other part is very public when Steve Kerr said, I felt like an idiot when I didn't play Jason Tatum. He says he's only going to commit to trying to play 10 players a game. Well, Tatum, he said, would play. So whose expense will that be at today? I mean, Durant came back. He was awesome. Had to stay in. LeBron was leading the way. I mean, maybe they could take out one of those guards that plays, whether that's Edwards, Booker, White, Holliday. It's tough to play more than 10. So that'll be something to check out today. And then now with baseball, the deadline is done. How do some of these deals affect the standings in the playoff races the rest of the way? That'll be the next thing to watch today. Also, it is game 2 of the Bay Bridge Series. Giants hosting the A's. Giants need this far more than the A's. A's won yesterday. Logan Webb, our guy, local guy, going tonight. Still having a good year, not in the win-loss column, not getting a lot of help. 3.72 ERA, 7-8 in a game the Giants need to get. A's, they're not going to be a postseason team. We know that. But the Giants still have their hopes, even if fans are frustrated with their trade deadline approach. All right, for us, when we come back, there's some significant days in sports history we'll highlight. We'll tell you what other things to follow. And we got Crosstalk with Styles and Watkins all coming up in the final half hour of the show. That is all straight ahead right here on Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Styles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. Recently, my dad's air conditioning went kaput, and he called a couple of different places. I said, Dad, You know I endorse American Energy Heating and Air, right? He said, oh, that's right, I forgot. He called him up. He got their bid. Guess what? Shockingly, they came in the lowest. Now they're replacing his air conditioner. Now have one of their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion as well. American Energy Heating and Air, as I've told you for a long time, been around since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Look, if it's good enough for my dad, I got to think it's good enough for anybody else. I would not trust anybody else other than American Energy at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley's coming to town. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Farmerly, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by The Scoundrel Red Wine, Naturewood Home Furnishings, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
All right, I was telling you before the break, Team USA in women's volleyball was up 2-0. They just lost the third set. So, and Serbia leads in game 4, 3-0. Or the fourth set, excuse me. So I think, Chris, you had made a great point. I know the same thing you saw I've seen is volleyball. I've seen Team USA the last time when they were playing, was it China? They were down 2-0. Came back to make it 2-2, but lost in 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another match that was 2-0 deficit.
Yeah.
Somebody came back to make it 2-2, and that team also lost in 5. So Team USA is down 4-0 now in the fourth set. And, you know, again, this is pool play. So these are matches they need to get. And when they're up 2-0, and they kind of won the first two, I wouldn't say easily, but Karch Karai, one of the great volleyball players of all time, is the women's coach. He's calling a timeout. Let's get a timeout. Let's regroup and see if we can get Team USA going. So Serbia has come back a bit. Team USA still leading 2-1 in that match. Again, like we said, 12 o'clock today is when Team USA will be back on the court. I like some of the other storylines of the Olympics. It is weird. I would think, wouldn't you think, Chris, if you were an Olympic athlete and you're in the Village, I know the men's basketball team they kind of have different a different setup. But when you are in those spots, when you're around, like Anthony Edwards being at table tennis the other day, or if they go check out swimming or some of these other things, I would still think they've got to be the biggest stars there, don't you think?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're just household names. And I would be in awe if I was any other sport, and here's Kevin Durant, and here's Curry, and here's LeBron.
I'm trying to think of who now. I guess Simone Biles.
Yeah.
Would be the one where like she's at the same level.
Yeah, where like the NBA athletes want to go see her play. They did that with Phelps, right? So
yeah,
Phelps and Biles are kind of in that realm.
Usain Bolt,
yes,
like that.
It's like must see. I think there's a few track people that kind of will draw some of that same attention, but I don't know that anybody is coming in with that same lore that, you know, Carl Lewis did or some of the others, Michael Johnson. But there are some that we're going to be wowed by when track gets going. So what to watch today? Well, that is more of the Olympics. Check it out as all sorts of things, whether it's Peacock, NBC, USA, E, MSNBC. It's all over the place. And there's still some that it's not for them. I guess I get it, but I just love the overall competition and love sports. I just always have. And I think the Olympics is, I probably will not watch much volleyball after this. I don't know when it's on, where it's on, and some of these other sports, but I still find myself doing that if, I don't know, there's so many random things that you can find on television. You're like, oh, I'll spend a few minutes watching this. Like pickleball, I've seen that on TV. That'll probably be Olympic sport before long, believe it or not. So check that out. A's and Giants.
Did you know there's a pro volleyball league?
Yeah, I think so.
That started in 2022.
Indoor?
Yeah.
Oh, we should update. You and I, or you, heard the end of Styles and Watkins. What was it, Monday? And they were talking with Whitey about his, and he didn't seem to have Olympic fever, and they were talking about handball, right? Trying to get team handball. So didn't you do a little discovery on that? What did you find out?
I did.
Yeah.
I saw that there is handball leagues in Sacramento.
So you're like, okay, maybe we can get a team handball.
I'm like, maybe we can get someone to come in and stuff like that. So I reached out to the people that they said was a contact. And the website I went in, they have like all these lists of players and stuff like these list of places you can play and how to play. And so I thought, oh, it's in a gym and stuff like that. Okay, this is cool. This can work. And so I reached out. I'm like, hey, we're really into handball. We want to know if you could tell us about this.
Yeah.
And the man could not have been nicer.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, thank you very much for reaching out to me. We do not play team handball. We play the handball that's like racquetball.
Yeah.
Not what you're seeing in the Olympics.
As maybe a kid on the blacktop against that wall.
So I believe he said, thank you so much for this offer, but as of right now, I have to decline.
It's like, no, we probably should decline as well. We thought we were dealing with something else.
I reached back out. I said, thank you very much for reaching back. That is a totally different sport.
Yes.
I agree with you. I am so sorry for wasting your time.
So it makes you wonder, where are these places? How are people learning how to play?
I'm like, okay, well, team handball in Sacramento, like there should be something, right? I couldn't find anything.
Because I know for a while, I don't know if it's still, I say popular, but becoming a thing. Wasn't there were some kickball leagues that were going around.
I think they're still going around.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know, I know I could probably spend 5 minutes researching to find one, but it seemed like that was a bigger deal for a while. But in this case, we thought we had found something with team handball, and we didn't. It was just regular old handball, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. All right. They are showing now, Chris, and I didn't realize this is even more impressive. We talked earlier in the show about the fantastic finishes yesterday. There was a great one in basketball with Team France and Japan, where there's the 4-point play late, and France ended up getting it to overtime. Victor Wembanyama took off, and they won. The other finish was the bronze medal match of women's rugby sevens, and Team USA was basically cooked. Like, they were going to lose. They're down 12-7. They would need a miracle, and they got the miracle. Do we still have that audio? If you could find that, because I think it would be a good re-listen to everyone. But what made it impressive was they're basically down to their closing seconds. They had to go the distance of the field. It wasn't looking promising, and we'll let you hear what happened. But I'm watching the replay. I didn't see it when it happened. I just saw the highlight of the end outcome. Well, it's 7-7, and there's under 2 minutes to go. So I didn't realize how late Australia scored. But again, Team USA was down 12-7, and then this happened.
Well, they're going to have to go the distance here if they're going to take this one to golden point. Alona Ma, Ramsey, Cedric, Spiff, Cedric's away. Cedric up over the 50, the 40. She's going to take it all the way. Cedric for the USA. It is level at 12 apiece. The conversion will win the bronze medal for Team USA.
This is going to be the easier kick right down the middle.
There it is.
Oh,
there it is. Cedric with the conversion, and Team USA make history in Paris.
Incredible finish. The history part was the first ever medal for a women's rugby team in U.S. history. It was a bronze, and just a thrilling finish. So they're having a replay right now on E. And again, it's 7-7, about a minute and 40 and counting left. I know there will be some extra time because that's when Team USA scored, but not with much extra time. And so they're about to give up the critical 5 points. And then they're just in a state of panic and watching. Here comes the 5-pointer. So yeah, they score with a minute 27 left. And then that set up that final dramatic play for Team USA. So one of the best moments so far to date of the Olympics. All right, let's go through some of the things that have happened on this day in sports history. It became a very significant day for a couple of reasons for trades in history. If we go back to July 31st, 1993, the A's trade Rickey Henderson to the Blue Jays for 2 minor leaguers. Now, they basically rented Rickey for the rest of the season, helped them win a World Series, and then Rickey came right back to the A's. I think he had 3 different tenures with the Oakland A's. 10-year, had 15-year. So 10-year for Rickey Henderson there, coming back to the A's. Then you go 4 years later, July 31st, 1997, the A's trade Mark McGwire to the Cardinals. McGwire would become the top home run hitter during a season to get traded. Nobody had as many home runs as McGwire did midseason to get traded, and then ended up as a Cardinal. Chris, I'm thinking about McGwire. You think of him more as an Oakland A or more as a St. Louis Cardinal?
I think Cardinal, just because of all the big home runs were in St. Louis. Yeah. This is an interesting fact. My uncle was a huge A's fan growing up, then ended up getting a job opportunity in St. Louis. And when he moved to St. Louis, they got Tony La Russa as their manager. Mm-hmm. They got Mark McGwire. I think I'm trying to think. I think Eckersley was their closer for a little bit.
He might have been there. I know.
So all of these Oakland A's just happened to go to the Cardinals. So it was a pretty easy switch for him to make.
There was someone else. Mark Mulder went from the he was a little bit later with the A's than to the Cardinals. Yeah. Wow. That's cool. Being a fan of the team and then seeing you guys from your team coming your way. So that happened on.
The only bad thing is you have to go to St. Louis.
Gosh, you just hate that city. When is the next time we're going to get you in St. Louis? Never?
Never.
Never. You'll never go back.
Nope.
Soccer match that you want to see is there. You're not going.
No.
Okay. I'm trying to get you there, but I don't know why. I haven't been to St. Louis at all.
Don't. Good for you. I'm jealous.
And then on this date as well, on July 31st, 2007, Kevin Garnett was traded to the Boston Celtics in exchange for, at the time, it was the most amount of return. Al Jefferson, Ryan Gomes, Sebastian Telfair, Gerald Green, Theo Ratliff, cash considerations, Boston's 2009 first-round pick, top 3 protected, and the 2009 first-round pick, which Minnesota then traded to Boston in the Ricky Davis, Wally Zerbiak deal. But KG leaving Minnesota in his prime, going to Boston. They had already added Ray Allen, or maybe that was after, kept Pierce because they were going to maybe totally break up the team. But that started Boston's run.
And that what's interesting, I think they had a really terrible record that year, and that they were pushing to get Durant. Like a lot of the fans wanted Durant.
Yes.
And when they didn't
win the lottery. Like they stayed fifth or something like that.
And there's this idea that if they had a chance to get Durant, this trade wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have. They would have gone that route. And I mean, would that have been better? Would that have been worse? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
The differences in
also, I think it created the idea of you need a quote big 3 to win the NBA.
Yeah, but I do remember that. I mean, obviously I was working here and remember the talk at that time. I felt like that was one of the big 3 that just made sense. Like that was a good fit. You had Ray Allen, like a low volume, efficient scorer. Paul Pierce was the anchor piece of really what they do. And then Garnett was the defensive leader, intimidating guy. It all came together. Rondo was a good fit, and Boston was on a nice run then, and now they're on a equally nice run now as the winner of the last NBA Finals and current champions. All right, still to come on the show. When we come back, Styles and Watkins will be in studio with us. We'll see what's coming up on the show. We also will hit them with celebrity birthdays, brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies, as birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than crumble cookies. Crosstalk, next, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Quick Quack Car Wash takes the drama out of keeping your car clean.
Let's wash the car. Don't spray the hose inside the car.
Our convenient wash packages make it easy to get your car soaked, scrubbed, and on your way. Protect your car from sun, rain, and pollen with a ceramic duck wash and get our in-wash light show and an unbeatable clean.
Oh, the kids filled the gas tank with water.
Of course they did. Quick Quack Car Wash. Come in today and get 25% off any wash.
I'm a very active person that likes to move around and go. The pain I was in was really excruciating. It was actually debilitating. I was basically heading towards a sedentary lifestyle. I had really tried everything, but I quickly lost hope with all of the things that we had tried, and that's what led me to the Good Feet store. And when I found the Good Feet system, it really just changed everything. It brought me back to life. I have my active lifestyle back.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
Gotta change my oil.
How about Valvoline Restore and Protect? It restores and protects your engine to run like new.
Get in zone. It restores your engine to like factory clean?
And protects.
Get in zone. So Valvoline Restore and Protect restores and protects.
Now you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for $37.99.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And when you join My Lowe's Rewards for free, the savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers, plus earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards, just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards and become a member for free today. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Whitey here reminding you that not all gas grills are created equal. Bring out all the delicious flavors in your grilled meats with the amazing Napoleon Prestige and Prestige Pro line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro with features other grills cannot match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Made with premium stainless steel that boasts quality and a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. Napoleon grills and accessories are now available at your nearby Amy's, Ace Hardware in Sacramento, and now El Dorado.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, July was very good to the A's as they put together their best month since they were 17-9 back in June of 21. And they took advantage of a real quirk in the schedule, playing the Angels 10 times in July, and they went 8-2. And also good series against the Astros and the Phillies, going 2-1 against those two ball clubs as well.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver that includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless payment and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things. And now, here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Yeah! Keep clapping. Yeah. Yeah. How are you guys?
Great.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Great.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
You all right with your Giants? That's a no.
Pretty bad.
What if the A's keep you out of the postseason?
I mean, the A's, man, they just go ding dong Donkey Kong all the time.
What was it, 4 of them?
Four of
yesterday?
them. Four, man.
Speaking of 4 home runs, how about Jazz Chisholm?
Yes, 4 in
Man.
2 games as a Yankee.
Here's my question.
Yes.
I
Yes,
know
he's the greatest Yankee of all time.
Well, I know what I love Jazz, right? I always have. Shout
Smooth.
out Bahamas.
Your guy.
But
Hands.
he had the backwards hat coming out of the team locker room into the dugout. I know Yankees fans weren't happy about that. And I saw he's wearing the green. This is what I don't get about the Yankees. How is Jazz able to wear a green belt that says we are not the same? I love the belt. I think it's great. I just don't know how they're allowing. I get very confused with the Yankee rule.
Yeah, the one that's still there is the facial hair, right?
Is that the
It's terrible.
only? Is that the strong?
And
is that the only rule?
That and no names on the jerseys.
Sure. Which they can't. No one can. They're not going to Sharpie it.
No, but that is weird that fans then buy the jerseys and it'll
And they
say
have
Judge. I'm like, that's not the Jeter. It's like, that's not the jersey.
Because I remember, because when Jazz hit one of the home runs, he's going around the base. I saw 13, and it tripped me out because I thought, oh, A-Rod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Got his number.
Yep.
Do you remember the story Greg Vaughn had with us about being traded to the Reds?
Yes.
And
vaguely. There were some rules that they had. That
The Reds had the same thing as the Yankees with no facial hair, and he had a goatee at the time. And when he's like, hey, welcome to the team and everything like that, just to let you know, we don't allow facial hair, so you're going to have to shave your goatee. And he said, well, thank you very much for telling me that, but remember, you traded for me, so you have to decide what you want.
Right.
He really kept the facial
I like
hair.
that.
Yeah.
You want me? Get the facial hair.
Yeah.
You are not the Yankees.
Yes. No, you're not.
And even the Yankees.
So I didn't even notice the green belt. So he's wearing like a different.
He's wearing a green belt.
His own personal.
Yes.
Jazz belt.
Exactly.
Jazzy.
And I'm good with that. I don't the facial hair thing. I mean, we don't have enough time.
No,
not enough time.
You don't have a 4-hour show to get into
That's
that.
well, we're not going to spend it talking about the Yankees facial hair rules.
What is coming up on the show?
Well, Chris had a great find with Brett Siegel, kind of in one of his articles from yesterday, talked about the Kings being interested in one Robert Williams, the Time Lord. So I know some people, and I texted Brett, and Brett's going to be on the show at 12 to break everything down.
Fit wise makes some sense. I go back to the.
I know where you're going.
Will they play them? Will they play not him? Just like if you got what was be deemed as a great rim protector, which he's pretty good. Yep. Would that person be played?
I thought you were going to say, can he play?
Well, that too. Anymore, he could.
Yeah.
I mean, I think really how Chris and I are approaching it, we're going to hear from Brett. We're going to talk about the article, and really, it's a matter of what price tag seems fair for a guy who you don't know how much he's going to play.
Yeah, but I think the same. If you hold out on that, is like Portland's got Cunningham now, Ayton and like they got to move one of them.
They have to.
Yeah.
But what does Portland want? They got they got more guards than the Kings and more guards than the Niners do wide receivers.
Yes.
No,
so yeah, where I was going was like even when personally, I think Alex Len could be the rim protector. And it's a backup role, but they'll play Lyles, they'll play smaller than they'll play Keegan. Like it just. They want spacing, shooting, which is fine. It's gotten them wins.
Yeah.
Olympic update, Jason. We're going to set 5.
Oh my gosh.
It's the third volleyball match that we've seen that it's been 2-0, then 2-2, and the team that's been down 2-0 comes back but does not win set 5. So hopefully that continues for Team USA because they were up 2-0.
Anything with the net just takes forever, man. Just do best 2 out of 3 and just get it over with.
The net.
Tennis takes forever.
Does it?
I'm sure badminton does.
Sets. Badminton's fast.
So basketball was too long for you?
It's got a net.
No, a horizontal net.
Oh, man, you must hate lacrosse. We're going to be here forever.
No. A net where you have to hit something back and forth over the net.
Oh, over the
That's
baseball.
Right.
So just
the foul ball net.
Volleyball.
Just tennis and volleyball.
Yeah. Pickleball.
Pickleball. And get ready because it's coming to the Olympics.
Oh, yeah, pickleball. Yeah, it's
coming.
Probably after LA. Because
probably
it's
in
not
LA.
Well, I think it's not
in
listed
LA.
for LA, but who knows? Late edition.
I guarantee it's a popular sport now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I would think that they'll make a
Do we know how
they're awful people down
pickleball's
there? So of course they like pickleball.
Yeah.
Do we know how pickleball is doing internationally though?
I don't.
I know someone knows on the text.
Yeah, for sure. You guys are going to be on during Team USA basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They play at 12.
Yeah. If Tatum's in, who's out? Who's not playing?
I mean,
And nobody seems to care that Halliburton's not playing.
Yeah.
He's
Because like Tatum will play.
That
It's
makes
like,
a lot of sense.
What about Halliburton?
He's there for vibes, you know,
Howard is vibes.
and outfits.
Allegedly great.
They are.
Not his outfits.
His outfits are terrible. Just all-time terrible. Kind of glad he's not a king terrible.
Stop it.
Because you'd be
Now,
embarrassed.
see,
by
now
him.
you have Chris going. Now you got Chris going again.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with Chris because then we would have to look like idiots
We would look
defending
like
him.
the idiots.
No.
We
He's
look
like,
like
oh
the
man, he
nerds.
looks great. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
But like in the back of our mind, like, oh God, why do we have to defend this?
Do you imagine we have the best dressed player in the league in Malik and then the worst dressed player in the league in Halliburton in the
Is Malik
same
the best
locker room?
dressed?
Yeah, he got voted by GQ the best
Yeah.
dressed,
Easily.
in the
He
league
did,
last year.
easily.
Yeah.
You know, they brought up yesterday, it's been all over Tim Bontemps' article because of that East exec talking about Keegan's runway. And I saw on NBA Today, they said that the Kings, and this is the first time, this very Kings thing, and I sent it to you, Chris. The Bulls and the Kings lost that trade.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. Like we're
Only-
trying to make a win-win trade for the Halliburton Sabonis. They're
Right.
saying this is lose-lose.
Lose. And, you know,
Yeah,
they're bringing up the whole runway thing, and they're acting like it's a conversation of, to bring it all back home, Halliburton and Fox. Like, those were runway questions.
Yeah.
I don't think DeRozan and Keegan are runway questions. to
Right.
me. Not in the same, not nearly in the same capacity when you think of a runway question.
Right. Well, and I also think then some things get labeled and then it's fact. It's like when people say, oh,
Yeah.
Sabonis and Turner didn't work. I go, I don't know what that means. They
Yeah.
made the playoffs 2 of the
Yeah.
3 years and they ran into Miami and Boston.
Yeah.
So by saying it didn't work means what? And even Halliburton and Fox. Now,
Yeah.
more time. They didn't make the playoffs,
Right.
but I mean, I think over time they would have figured it out. But they made the right move to move on.
Yeah. Runway.
Just runway.
Runaway.
All right. Let's see how you guys
Project
do.
Runway.
So today's celebrity birthday is brought to you by our friends at Crumble
All right, I'm
Cookies.
hot today.
Long list.
Oh, I saw him. I
Alan
saw him.
just
I
saw
saw
the
him. I have
entire-
photographic
yeah.
memory.
You processed
There's
all
a
of them.
9 in there.
Yes.
Computer processes,
Elite processor. Like
microprocesses.
Microprocessor.
Real quick. Sorry, Jason. I know Christopher Law's going to be upset. Have you ever heard the term elite processor before Brock Purdy? No. Okay. That's it. That's
Is
it.
that a point of contention?
Was
No,
it
Alan
that-
just brought it up, and I was like, I've definitely heard it.
Isn't that what
A
the
long
Dell guy was selling?
Okay. Happy
All right.
birthday to Mark Cuban.
Ah.
Cubes.
For those
Cubes.
reasons, I'm out.
What were you fishing with?
Yes.
Is that a big fish?
Good pull.
Yeah, it's a pretty big fish.
It's considered a trophy fish.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Pretty big.
Mark Cuban. He might be older than you think. Is he 53?
I think he's like, I'm going to say 60.
62.
Christopher Lotta's closest, 66.
Wow.
Whoa.
Dane Cook, pay-per-view, 15 minutes.
Looks good.
Happy birthday, AJ Green.
Ooh,
The wide receiver?
That's the
Because
one.
there's also a basketball.
Wide receiver. I think.
He had a time.
He had a really good time.
He had a time with the rifle. Red rifle.
Andy Dalton, that's right.
He's done now, so I'm gonna say he's 35.
Yeah. I'll say, 33.
36.
We have a correct answer. It goes to Christopher Laud, 36.
Wow.
Close, Alan. Very close.
He is washed.
Happy birthday to Wesley Snipes.
Oh, they wanted to bring him back for Wolverine and Deadpool.
I think they did.
Why? Just going to spoil that?
I haven't seen
Is that what we do now? We just
I haven't seen it.
spoil.
I just said happy birthday.
we
Wesley
just
Snipes.
spoil
Wesley Snipes
Deadpool.
now, he's got to be in his 60s for sure. He's 65.
Let's see here. I'll say 60.
64.
Chris Watkins is closer.
What was your guess?
65.
Correct answer is 62.
Oh.
Wesley Snipes.
Younger than Cubes.
Chris has gotten all 3.
Look, Chris.
What am I looking at?
Friend of the show, Laura Britt.
Oh, yeah.
On Olympic coverage.
Like, that's not her.
There she is.
There we go. There's Laura.
Happy birthday to, let's see, where do we want to go next? Let's go with former Giant skipper Gabe Kapler.
That's my guy.
Your guy.
Yes.
You better get this right because Chris has gotten all the
Well, I mean, he looks so good. I don't know how old he actually is. 31.
Yikes. Is that your guess?
No.
Oh.
He is 46 though.
Okay.
Ooh, I'll say 48.
He's 50.
We have a tie. He's 49.
So all three of us tied.
Okay. Happy birthday to.
Don't need math when you're on the baseball team. Huh?
That's tough. Former number one pick in the NFL, former Browns disappointment, Tim Couch.
Whoa.
That was just for you guys.
Good
call. Let's see here. Gotta get a jersey. Let's do Tim Couch is 51.
49. 46.
Chris Velada's close. 47.
Wow.
Chris is cleaning up today. Happy birthday to former
Not the biggest.
NFL QB Gus Farhan.
He was a Vikings quarterback for way too long.
When did he smash his head into the wall?
That was.
Via,
I think I might have been second stitch. Yeah. Oh man, this is bringing back all kinds of terrible memories. I'll say Gus is 54.
Yeah, 51.
56.
Chris Watkins is closest, 53, and we'll end with former Stanford coach, the NFL David Show.
He just left.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's
Troy Taylor.
Yeah, Troy Taylor. Because he had I think a lifetime deal and
he bounced.
Yeah.
How old is he today?
He had McCaffrey.
He did?
I'm so stupid. I just looked up David Shaw to see where he is.
He's
So old he is. I'm so dumb. He's a
All right.
Broncos assistant for what it's worth.
Oh.
He is talk about missing your window.
Yeah.
He is 62.
55.
He is 52. Chris, a big day for Chris.
Yeah.
He was, you know what? He's an elite processor.
But what do you do with days like this where you win closest but you didn't get out on the nose?
You got one of them.
I know, but
I say Chris was today's winner.
Yeah.
That's what
I won.
All right.
You have to be better tomorrow.
I won.
And you're going to be better now. Coming up, we've got Styles and Watkins coming your way right here.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings
Out
game.
of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it? Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, the Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. It gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
I just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of the spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis